Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone, but more importantly, I say blue morning to you because it is another blue morning show. Today, we're going to talk about the stadium issue regarding our beloved club, Chelsea Football Club, because the truth is, of all the success the club has achieved under Roman Abramovich, it still doesn't have a stadium that befits its status as a European footballing power. It just, I mean, you could argue it is because there's no space to build a new one. You could argue the issue may be because of the Chelsea pitch owners, but there's more to it. The answer is not that simple. But if you want to find out what the problem is, stay with us, and believe me, you will not disappointed. So let's get into it. Yes, people, welcome back to another Blue Morning Show. And please allow me to take a sip of my coffee so that I can work up properly and also so I don't lose my voice. And I am glad to have in the house Nick Blue, one of those that are well acquainted with the issues regarding why Chelsea Football Club have not built a stadium that befits its status as a European powerhouse. Again, like I said before, the answer is not that simple. And I'll be looking for others to join us on the panel. I've sent the link to a few people who I know who I believe understand the situation very well. And I will also share the link to the panel in the chat a bit later. So, Nick, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. How are you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm fine, Coach. A big up to everyone if they're there. The chat is a bit late today. I don't know. It's Easter Saturday as well for some as well. I know. But my Easter is next Sunday, the Christian Orthodox. That's the real Easter, what goes live in Jerusalem. And you see if you've been to Jerusalem on that day, you see the holy light coming out of nowhere. You see the miracle. And that's why we believe in Jesus and God so much. If you go there, you know, it's hard to describe the words, but I will send some pictures for that as well on Twitter.
Yeah, I see. So, Nick, let me ask you this. Arsenal has a very, very nice stadium. Manchester United has a very nice stadium. Tottenham has a state-of-the-art stadium. You could argue one of the best stadia in the Premier League. Even smaller clubs such as West Ham and some others do have a very nice stadium. How important is the stadium to Chelsea Football Club?
It's how can I say? It's everything and everything. It's everything. Look at what happened to Arsenal when they moved out of Highbury. They went to just down the road, 5 minutes away from Highbury. But since they went there, the new stadium already is nice, beautiful, but there's no atmosphere. No atmosphere at all. Not like Highbury was. If you remember how it was at Highbury, it was very hard to get even a draw there. And we go back to Tottenham. They moved out. They moved out of what's that? Some noise.
Go ahead. It was coming from my end.
Yeah. Look, Tottenham moved down from White Hart Lane. Again, they had incredible atmosphere there, and they built a new stadium again. A few minutes away. But it's not the same. Even for them, it's not the same to move out your traditional stadium. It's like how can I describe it? It's like when you're born somewhere and you always want to be there. end of the day, you want to be there where you were born, and
Yeah.
that's the feeling. And look at the teams for rebuild. Man United, they kept Old Trafford. They will never never will move out of Old Trafford. It's too sacred. Same with Liverpool, Anfield. They will never move out. They
It
make
looks
it.
like we haven't started already. It looks like you're already fighting for the Chelsea pitch owners.
Yes, because I'm. I would never accept anyone who tries to move us out of Stamford Bridge, and that won't happen, by the way, because Chelsea Trust is against it, pitch owners are against it, and we own the pitch. They can't take the pitch with them. They can't take Stamford Bridge with them. So all the name, they can't do nothing. So, we'll be Chelsea forever.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, now I was going to say this again. It's been everywhere. There was a time the plan that was shown to people was the power station. I forgot what it was called. I don't know why that was abandoned.
Battersea
Power Station. Yeah, why was that? That was the first plan before the second one. But before you get back to me, let me quickly address the people in the chat. I want to say blue morning to the True Blue who said it's not like the US. You cannot get planning permission if you encroach into another club's area, affecting a final basis. Again, even at the US, you can't just start building like that. You have to get the permission, and I don't think you can encroach anywhere you want just because you have the money or not. Okay, yeah, good to know that. Nice to see you, Phantom. Craven Cottage is being improved. Yeah, quite other clubs in the UK has good. All have good stadium, but Chelsea, even as a European powerhouse, doesn't have one that befits its status as such. Says Tottenham have not moved. Yeah, they didn't move. Even Liverpool did not move. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tottenham have not moved. They used a part of the old stadium. People need to give an alternative, not just a demand a move. Why are the pitch owners getting the blame? Nobody has blamed them yet. I haven't said anything about the pitch owners yet. So coming back to you, Nick. I was asking you, why was the initial plan and the plan for the power station, why was it abandoned?
Roman looked at that. He looked at the Battersea Power Station, because it was a massive area.
Mm-hmm.
And then he realized, because of the pitch owners, that's the main reason. So Roman decided, to take down Stamford Bridge and rebuild it. And he made a great model. He made the plans were there, ready to go. Everything was ready to go. We were going to play at Wembley for maybe 3 or 4 seasons till the new stadium was built. But the reason why it wasn't started was when they stopped Roman. They coming into as a British citizen. So when they stopped him coming to this country, as probably we well know, they stopped him, and so the plans went on hold. The plans are still there, but they were on hold as far as Roman is concerned. But me personally, I don't want us to go and play 3 years at Wembley. I prefer to rebuild Stamford Bridge, like these spinners have been saying, step by step. We've done it before when we were building the new Matthew Harding, from the North Stand to Matthew Harding, and the old shed end to the shed end now, and the West Stand. We had the East Stand, that was done when Ken Bates was there. Then slowly he started, Ken Bates started it, doing it by step, and the fans were still there. But we made a noise. We had three sections. A lot of the times, I'll never forget. But we still made a noise. Right, not so much as when it's properly, all the stands are there, but still, it was a noise. And the best idea. Let me finish. The best solution is like we all want, where most of us want, most of Chelsea fans, there is some that want to move out, but not many, is to rebuild the stadium, turn it into a 60,000 capacity. That's well enough. We don't need more than that. It'd be good to have it 60,000 and to help, all the members who can't get tickets. Because, even me, sometimes I can't get a ticket. But I've been lucky the last few games, I've been able to get tickets. So, but you have to be a member, and we have more members than seats right now. You understand? That's important. But moving out from the area, that's impossible. That
Yeah,
won't
we'll
happen.
talk. We'll talk about that later in the show.
Yeah, go on.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bobby, welcome to the panel. I'm just happy you have time to join us today for this very important topic. How are you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, guys. I'm good.
Brilliant. Good to hear. Good to hear. Bobby, let me ask you, just a bit more like a reset on the show so that we bring you up to par to the discussion. We have clubs. Some clubs you could call smaller clubs. They have better stadiums in terms of size and architecture and otherwise than Chelsea do right now. But you could argue Chelsea of all the things the club have achieved under Roman Abramovich doesn't have the stadium that befits its status as a European footballing European powerhouse. It's not like the money isn't there. But I want to start by asking you how important is a stadium that is a good stadium in terms of size, architecture, technology, and however you want to see it. How important is building one? How important is it for Chelsea Football Club?
It is of crucial importance, and I don't say that lightly. The crowd capacity at Chelsea right now has a direct impact on our finances. And in this day and age of financial fair play and where football is going, you cannot generate the kind of revenue that would be required to sustain a club in our position. That is in terms of player purchase and so on. So the increase in revenue that the increase in capacity of the stadium would create is astronomical. We're looking at about a 30%, I can't say exactly because I'll need to check my figures, but a 30% at least increase in revenue. Why clubs like Real Madrid, Manchester United can be linked with certain players and be allowed to pay certain wages, even Arsenal. It's because of that revenue differential created by the capacity of their stadium. As it stands, people like Arsenal, Tottenham, United, people with stadiums 60,000 plus are in a richer financial position than Chelsea. Now, I want to redress this Battersea power plant situation. The Battersea power plant was, Chelsea was ready to go. I think even the pitch owners were in agreement with it. What happened was, yet again, the council decided to sell to property developers instead of Chelsea Football Club. And so that deal was scuppered by their council, nobody else. Now, the issue of the pitch owners and not moving, I think we need to think expansively. We can't be rigid. Stamford Bridge is the preferred choice, of course. It's the ancestral home of Chelsea, and it will be wonderful to expand on that piece of land, and it's still possible. But you see, unlike places like White Hart Lane, which was a huge empty area, Arsenal had to move from Highbury to where they are now in the Finsbury Park area. They were quite fortunate to find that bit of land, and a lot of the property there was derelict and broken down for them to build their stadium. Where Old Trafford is located, there's a lot of land around it, as where Man City's ground is. But Stamford Bridge is in one of the best parts of the world, but this part is densely populated and structurally very dense. Added to that, underneath the ground is the railway station, and I believe some water flows underneath that ground, which makes it challenging to build down in order to increase capacity. And there's some issues with power lines and things, which makes it challenging to build up. That's why the structure is so expensive. Now, personally, I think Chelsea could comfortably target a 70,000-seater stadium. There are loads of people that don't have season tickets. The waiting list is massive. Fans are on the membership group because they can't afford to pay the fees for season tickets. And then there's the whole capacity, because of who Chelsea is, for corporate seating, which was what was in the initial plan anyway. Now that we have standing capacity, Chelsea can really go for it. But there's a problem. Even if we go for, let's say, a 70,000 capacity, even a 60,000 capacity, the fact that it's in such a densely populated and structured area, the business owners, the residents, and all the people in and around the stadium have to be in agreement with having those large crowds of people coming through their area. Now, before Roman was sanctioned, this was done. The deal was done. Stamford Bridge was ready to go. But there was only a time period between which that could be executed, and then the whole thing would have to go back to tender. And there was already agitation from the property owners, business owners in and around there that, look, we're going to have all these people coming through here. We like it nice and quiet as it is. You need to compensate us. But that time, that window of which it was agreed with the council, they couldn't do anything until it lapsed. If Chelsea hadn't started structural development then. Now it has lapsed. So the whole negotiation has to start again. And goodness knows what they would want in compensation. Those are the challenges ahead of redeveloping and expanding Stamford Bridge. It's going to be very expensive. It's possible, but it's going to be tricky. And to expand it to the capacity that is needed is going to require extra permissions. Now, is there anywhere else? Well, the Battersea Power Plant area has gone. There was the whole talk of Earl's Court, and I think that also was given to property developers. So that kind of West London area is very dense, is very structurally populated, and really plan B would have to be to look at other possibilities. In Greater West London, there's more land, more space to develop. You just need to find the land that is available. That is the challenge. So all this, we're never going to move out of Chelsea. No, we need to be a little bit more less rigid and open to reasonable options. If they say, we're going to move Chelsea to Scotland, then I can understand why people will be concerned. But if they say they found a huge, decent piece of land out somewhere in Kent, shall we say, for want of a better word, I would consider that. Now, this stands that the pitch owners served its purpose at a very crucial time in Chelsea's history, where we needed to protect the club. That time has passed, and they're not in as strong a position as is believed. Okay, they hold the name of Chelsea FC, but clever people can play around with that name as much as they want if they need to move, which will be very sad because we all need to be together. They could also get pretty nasty. They could sell everywhere in and around that damn pitch, and you'd just be left with a green piece of land for nothing. So let's all be reasonable. I think as a fan base, the pitch owners themselves, of which I don't know why I ever didn't do that. I think I might go and join them now, to be honest, and buy some shares. But you know, we all need to be together and think about this maturely. Think about it progressively, all for the betterment of Chelsea Football Club. Because as we are now, it's untenable. We can't be like this. The time of Roman is gone. Roman underwrote a lot of our player purchases and everything. We don't have the capacity to buy half the players we have bought. So now that we're going to get these new people, especially Americans, who eventually will look for some kind of profit, we need to be realistic. And one of the biggest primary targets here on in for Chelsea is to redevelop or to expand. Now, how we do it, some people say, oh, we can expand while we're still there. We tear down one stand, build it up. I don't know. That's down to the skill of the architects. Is that possible? Well, we've kind of done it before, but is it possible for the type of stadium we're looking to build, which I must tell you, if we redevelop Stamford Bridge or go somewhere else and build, we've got to build it state of the art. That is a given. No point just popping up a few stands here, there, and anywhere. It has to be state of the art.
If it's not going to be a state of the art stadium, why build it in the first place?
Exactly.
I think.
Exactly.
I'll come to you, Nick, in a bit. I'll come to you. Just give me 1 second to go through the chat. Bobby, are you still talking?
Yeah, I was just saying, that is the tricky bit, and that is down to the skill of the architects, and also whatever option we take is going to cost quite a bit. It's going to be expensive.
Yeah, sure. Nick, I have a very important question for you, but let me just take a minute and breeze through the chat. Bobby Fairview says, trying to have it both ways. I'm sure he's pointing to the Chelsea pitch owners, and I'm glad Nick is here. And I'm glad he cannot, if he tries to punch me, he cannot reach me. He can only see me on camera. He says, trying to have it both ways. We want to be a global club fighting for the biggest trophies, but the ground has to stay in our neighborhood, although it means we will never be commercially viable. That's another point I'm going to, in terms of being commercially viable, I'm going to highlight this comment so that we can talk about it later. And then here's Phantom here saying, stay at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea needs to keep the Fulham Broadway heritage. That's important also, and Bobby even alluded to that. Says he also looked at Eos. Yes, I'm well aware of that, and thank you for that information. Nick, the Chelsea pitch owners had nothing to do with the power station. He was out of bid, okay, by the Chinese. Yep, and thank you for reminding True Blue. Thank you for reminding us that it was the Chinese who bought the power station area. Bobby Fairview, it was okay under Roman because he used his own money to fund Chelsea during those losses, but now it is different. 60K capacity needed regardless, because most definitely new owners are going to be profit focused. It's not a toy to them. They might not even first of all be football followers, or let me say Chelsea fans. They're just seeing a business opportunity, but after they buy the club, if they emerge as the new owners of the club, they will eventually become fine because they want the club to be successful after all. But that's, by the way, to be successful after all, so to speak. West Ham equal to Olympic size. Yep, those Fairview, some old suggest somewhere. Please enlighten us of your knowledge of the area. Okay, where would Chelsea play during the remodeling? They could play at Wembley. They could play, I think there are other stadiums. You just have to make an arrangement in advance. But that's, by the way, your boy, these are pitch owners are selfish and needed to be called out for putting their convenience ahead of the club. Ken Bates screwed the club when, I think I've read this comment before, when he separated naming rights from the ownership. I think there's some measure of advantage to it, if you ask me. Traffic is nightmare before and after game. So those things must be considered. Bobby Fairview, you sound like a scratch record. Pitch owners and God agreed to a move to Batista try and whatever followed. Where does Chelsea play during the remodeling? You've asked that again. They could play at Wembley just as Tottenham did, or at the West Ham Stadium. I think there was a time he said they were going to be playing at the West Ham Stadium during the remodeling.
They can play at Twickenham as well.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. So where does I think I've read that again. A Cobham, plenty of land. You think? Let me see here again. Planning permission has already been granted for 60K at Stamford Bridge. That would take, some engineering work is achievable. It's just you have to spend a lot. So Nick, I am back. I'm coming to you now.
I have a very good idea that I think is worth hearing, but when you're done.
Okay, we will talk about that later. Okay, Nick, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Nick, can you explain to me? I'll ask you other questions also, or if you have anything you want to respond to first, that's fine.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what's the purpose of the Chelsea pitch owners?
The purpose,
yes,
is to make sure to keep the Chelsea name, keep it at Stamford Bridge. That's the main purpose, and that's what it's there for. When Ken Bates was there, that's what happened. And me, I think Ken Bates, all this rubbish about Ken Bates done a great job. Don't forget we were going into administration. Then Ken Bates come and save the club, and he only wanted good for the club. He's a true fan, like a Roman, and he found Roman to take over to carry on, because as we know, Roman he's a multi-billionaire, which Ken Bates wasn't. So about moving out the stadium, that won't happen in my lifetime, thank God. When I'm gone, I won't know. But
can you tell me why you think it's not going to happen?
I'm telling you, it ain't going to happen. Not right now, not in the near future. And because most fans are against it, we can't move out of our sacred ground. That's very important. We can't move out. All right, we can go. We can redevelop. These owners are coming in. They promise to do these things, and they have to put their promises into words now. We can move to Wembley, like Tottenham did, and redevelop Stamford Bridge, or do it in stages. That's what they're looking at. So let's see what they decide. But moving out the area, that's a dumb thing to say. Bobby, I don't agree with that. We can't move further than, even Battersea. That was too far to go. Chelsea is Chelsea. We're not moving anywhere. Not guarantee.
Okay, let me ask you this, Nick. The Chelsea pitch owners, do they make any profit? Do they get any income from being?
Yes.
People do get. I just want to hear it from you.
Yeah, of course they get they make their profit from members. Like me, I'm not a pitch owner. I didn't put any money into that, but I'm a member with the Chelsea Trust, which everyone pays. There's like a 4-tier system. The cheapest is £5 a year to be a Chelsea Trust member, and it goes up. You can be, the further up you go, the more say you have in the group.
So there's a chance.
Yeah,
there's a chance that most of those Chelsea pitch owners. Let me just quickly breeze through the chat again. I'm still with you before I go back to Bobby. Just 1 second, because this is an interactive show, so it's important to always involve those in the chat so they don't feel left out. Here, Bobby says, True Blue, I will be a scratch a record until the pitch owners shut down and the club has a stadium where we are no longer the worst of the top 6 in revenue. I think I wouldn't use a shutdown. I think maybe find a compromise to still get them involved in the new stadium. If at the end there's a possibility, if they found a space where they can move to a viable area. I don't know how else to phrase it, but that's me. Big up Kachila says, one of the queens of the house, just Viola. How are you? Nice to see you. And this is saying true. A ton of land again. I don't understand that. Let the stream. Yeah, please do like the stream if you haven't. It's important because the more likes we get, the more the Google YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the stream will be pushed to more people who will be interested in participating in this particular topic. Here, Tribly says Roman has made it a recondition of the sale. We stay at Stamford Bridge. Okay, yep, we heard that, but let's see what happens. My uncle is a pitch owner himself. Okay, let us know what you think about the Chelsea pitch owners. I don't mean Phoenix Coyotes moved to, and again, that's in the United States. And you're talking about the one opposite a train station where all the grass is phantom. Okay, that's him. We're talking to phantom. So, Nick, I'm coming back to you. Now, the question is, Chelsea pitch owners do make some profit because it's more like owning a share in a company. Is that what it is?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, they have. I was going to get the cheapest. The cheapest pitch owner is investment. Because I got in touch with them to see. I think it's £100. And over 100, you can have shares. So 100, 200, anything above £100, you can be a pitch owner. But they get money from all these members. They make good, crazy money. So does the Chelsea Trust from all the members. Don't forget, it's thousands members. They make good money.
They make good money. So wouldn't you say it's only natural that some of them, they're not really, I wouldn't say they become a problem. Wouldn't you say that some of them, for selfish purposes, wouldn't allow to relinquish, should I say their shares or relinquish the name of the club to the new owner so that they can do something that will befit the club?
The main purpose, that's what they're there for. The pitch owners were invented to make sure Chelsea's name is at Stamford Bridge and no one can take it away. That's the main purpose. You don't think
the individuals are selfish for selfish purposes because they earn money out of it?
No, they make money, but they have to do things like conferences. They meet with the supporters, the members. They do a lot of things. I think it's a good thing and a good thing that we have this sort of thing. So, if a new owner, say the Rickies came in and they try to take the club somewhere else, but they wouldn't be able to take Chelsea's name. You understand? They will have to invent a different name. So that's what's the purpose. That's why we have all this. And
so you still believe that someone else could come in and move Chelsea to somewhere else? The only difference is that they're not going to take the name.
Yeah, I don't think Todd Boehly or Martin Broughton, forget Pagliuca because he ain't got a chance in hell. Instead of these two. And, what they said, and the Chelsea Trust is very happy, mostly with Todd Boehly, I gathered, what I'm hearing, because they say, what we want to hear. They want to redevelop Stamford Bridge. If we have to move, there's no problem. We can move for 2-3 seasons, like Tottenham did, like some other clubs did, and come back to Stamford Bridge with a beautiful stadium. That'd be great. But if we can do it without moving, that'd be, as good as well. That'd be better because we don't have to move from the ground.
Let me ask you this. Do you accept that there's still a possibility that the club moves to another area?
No chance. No chance. It's moving. If they're going to move to another area, they ain't going to take the Chelsea name with them. So, no, not in my lifetime, coach. I keep telling you.
So, Bob, let me go to Bobby. Bobby,
Yeah.
what do you have to say about that? That if the club has to move, then the new owner must get another name. What do you think? Do you think that still means that the club cannot be moved to another location? And do you think no owner would consider changing the name of the club just because they want to move to another area? Your thoughts?
Well, what I think is I despair with that sort of thinking. I despair with that sort of thinking. The time where the pitch owners and protecting the Chelsea name mattered was when Chelsea were about to be completely financially destroyed, basically, move into administration and so on. There was all sorts going on around then. Now, times have moved on, but it seems some people haven't. And that disturbs me a lot because you see, the club, I don't know if anyone has even been listening to what I've been saying about the problems and the challenges of redeveloping Stamford Bridge. It is possible, marginally possible, but it will be extremely expensive. And there has to be a cost benefit analysis. Is the cost beneficial? Initially, when Roman had the plan before he was sanctioned, it was just about beneficial. And even then, we were skimming about £1 billion. Now, goodness knows what it's going to cost because of the compensation that has to be given to the surrounding residents and the surrounding business owners. I don't do things based on too much sentiment and fantasy. People are coming, when the new owners come, they can do this, they can do that. There is a reality to doing these things. It may not be viable. And at least the sort of discussion we should be having is right, as we did with the Battersea power plant, become a little bit reasonable and open to alternatives. If anything that's rigid breaks, if people are going to have this rigid attitude, what they're going to do is they will break the club. Because if a reasonable alternative comes up and you are rigid, we can never leave Stamford Bridge and all that sort of thing, you will just create a division in the fan base. Why do we
Bobby, let me come in 1 minute.
Nobody else has this problem.
No, you're wrong there. I'm afraid to say you're wrong. Look at Man United and Liverpool. Why did they could have moved and made 200,000 capacity stadiums if they wanted to, but they redeveloped their grounds. Look,
Liverpool and Man United do not have the redevelopment problems that Chelsea
We
have.
can't move out of Stamford Bridge at all costs.
Okay, you've said that.
And
Let me finish talking now.
Okay, Nick, let him finish, then I'll come to you and you express it. Yeah.
He's made it very clear he's very rigid on that stand. Now, he speaks of Liverpool and Man United. They don't have the redevelopment challenges. Nobody's saying that we want to move out of Stamford Bridge. But what we are saying, or what should be considered, is because of the immense challenges of redevelopment, that this could be a possibility. Arsenal moved out of Highbury, albeit down the road. Spurs, yes, they redeveloped White Hart Lane, but I think they moved a little bit, a few meters here and there.
Yeah, so they didn't move too far. We're not going to move to Kent or anywhere else. That won't happen.
Nick Blue, we don't
Chelsea
have
move to Fulham. If Chelsea moves to Fulham, maybe I can see that happening. But to go further than that, that's out of the question.
Well, we don't have the space. We don't have the space.
Let him finish, and I'll come to you. I'll come to you,
what my idea was? Can I just say what my idea was?
Yeah, go ahead.
There was a conversation once being had about Chelsea either purchasing or doing some deal for Twickenham. To me, that does have the space. That is in the southwest region, and it could still carry the same name. Now, those are the sort of realistic options that we might being the operative word, have to consider, because we don't have the geographical space to play with like they have at Anfield, like they have at Old Trafford, like they even had at White Hart Lane, and that they had at Highbury, moving on to the new Emirates location. We don't have that in West London at the moment. That's the point I'm making. So we need to be slightly open-minded, because the increase in capacity is financially crucial to the success of the club. That's all I got to say.
Okay, I'm going to come back to Nick now, but I'll still come to Phantom. Phantom, welcome to the panel, and Ty, welcome to the panel. Nick, let me ask you this question. You seem to sound like you're sure there's not that possibility that Chelsea moves from Stamford Bridge to another location. Again,
Yes.
I'm going to ask you that question one more time. Why do you think that is not possible?
Because it's our heritage, it's our sacred ground, and most of us fans who are used to coming to Stamford Bridge, that it's not easy for them to change their routes and find an easier way to go somewhere else. That it's too complicated. We can
That's indeed it is, and that's why we're talking about it. But the question I have for you, those you're talking about that wouldn't want Chelsea to move to another place, all they own is just the pitch and the club's name, and they're not the owner, right?
Yes. Yeah, but
can you agree, if the new owners find a very, very accessible space that they can pay for, that's close by, and there's still a possibility, all will happen is that it will cost them a lot of money. Don't you think they would decide to move?
Yeah, if it was on Fulham Road itself, no problem. But anyway, out of Fulham Road, no chance.
Because you feel like there's no space there.
Coach.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of buildings and houses, but it's hard to rebuild a stadium near Stamford Bridge. That's what we keep saying. We have to go further out.
One thing I try very, very hard not to say is too much about myself.
Yeah,
I've been going to Chelsea for nigh on 50 years.
And me more.
Till today, I do some security at Chelsea. I know the area. I know the logistics. I know the difficulty of redevelopment. And there has to be, if it is not financially viable, there has to be a plan B. And the reality is that plan B, there's every chance that it will not be down the Fulham Road. It may need to be located somewhere within some reasonable distance from the current West London location. That's just the truth. That is just the truth.
Okay, let Nick finish. I get your point, Nick. I'll come back to you, Bobby. If Nick finishes, I'll go to Phantom and Ty. Big up to you, Phantom. Please hold on. I know you're in a hurry to leave. You're a busy man, but I know you have something to say. But Nick has got to finish. And good suggestion here from our phrase, to use Google Earth to find look at the surroundings of Stamford Bridge. Go ahead, Nick, finish so that I can bring in Phantom, because it looks like he's in a hurry.
Yeah, to move out, but how far can we go? And first of all, if the new owner decides to go wherever they go and take Chelsea somewhere else, they're going to have to have a different name, because we're not moving from the Stamford Bridge. Simple as that. And I'm surprised.
You just made it clear, if the owner has to move, they're not taking the name Stamford Bridge, right? No. When the option was to go to the Batista train station, they arrived. They agreed. There was some agreement with the Chelsea pitch owners too, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. All I heard was Roman changed his plans because of all the fans wanted to stay at Stamford Bridge. So he decided to knock the old Stamford Bridge down and redevelop it.
No,
to
there was agreement to move to
There was an
Battersea.
agreement. Even True Blue in the chat said it. There was an
look.
agreement between Roman for
All right, mate.
and pitch owners for the move to the power station before the whole thing collapsed. But go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. Say what you were saying, brother.
I said maybe there was an agreement, but most fans were against it. That's why Roman wanted to stay at Stamford Bridge in the end. And he made the plans. He had the permission. He had everything. And he had to be put on hold because of our stupid government. I have to keep saying that. So, look, if we move, no way, I can't see us. Where close can we go? There's nowhere close. Like Bobby said, Twickenham. That's not close enough for me, really. And I'm surprised, Bobby. I'm surprised you've been going, as long as me, and you want to move out of Stamford Bridge. I don't understand you, really.
Nick, I don't want to move out of Stamford Bridge, but I'm realistic. In order to, the issue here is the capacity of the stadium and the progress and sustained success of the club.
Yes.
We cannot do it as we are. And
Yeah,
if we find... No, please listen to me, because you're not listening to me.
Bobby, I'll let you carry on in 1 minute. But they found a way to make it like a 60 or 62,000 redevelopment. We heard the plans. Bolton said he can do that. And Todd is probably similar. We don't need 80,000. 60,000 is be good.
Well, you see, you're talking as if it's apples and pears. If Chelsea have an 80,000 capacity stadium, they'll fill it. Do you know that back in the mid 1900s, the average crowd capacity at Chelsea, although that was another time, was 80 to 100,000. You know that, don't you? So
more,
Chelsea, even now,
in those days, Bobby, you can't compare those days. Those days it was very.
I know, but if you could just listen to what I'm saying.
When me and you started going, how much was it? 50p. It was 5 shillings when I first.
know, and you could just turn up and go through the turnstiles. I know, but what I'm saying is that even for us to increase to 60,000, which is good, it's restrictive. And it may not be financially viable. That's all I'm saying. It's easy for these people to say, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that."
Here's what I like best about that is the debate between you two. Nobody's coming, taking it to a personal level. You're both coming at each other with your thoughts and your opinions. And I'm going to come back to you guys, if you don't mind. Nick and Bobby, please let me just quickly bring in Phantom here, because it looks like he's in a hurry. He's been raising his hand. If you guys don't mind, please, should I go ahead?
Yes. Hello. Okay, Coachella.
Should I go ahead, Bobby and Nick?
Yes, absolutely.
You guys can hear me.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, go ahead, Phantom.
Okay, so here's the thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's not just a question of whether you can expand that thing out to 60 or 70,000. The roads around Fulham Broadway are very narrow, okay? So right now, the stadium seats, 16,000, 19,000, whatever. If you triple that, the traffic congestion is going to be 3 times worse. And you can't make the roads any more wide or so forth. And nearby, the closest place you could possibly do it would be Barron's Court, but then you'd have to build the stadium on a cemetery. And there's a huge cemetery out there, and that would be controversial. The next closest place you can build it out would be Wimbledon, but then the golf course land you would have to displace would be very expensive. But I think the optimal solution, if you were not going to do it at Stamford Bridge, would probably be at Mitcham Junction, because they have a very good tram system that connects Wimbledon to Croydon, and all along that area there's huge tracts of land out there, and they already have a tram line, So it's like you can do that as well. But I understand the too far thing. maybe you can buy the Chelsea name from the people who would own the name Chelsea by giving them some money. Say, hey, can we use the Chelsea name if you
I can
sell
tell you
the
now
name
that that's
to
going
us?
to be a serious expensive buy. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, all of these options are expensive because if you tried to build a stadium at the Stamford Bridge property, that's going to be expensive too, right? And during this time of 2 or 3 years while you're doing it, people are going to Wembley anyways. Or maybe just if the easiest solution is, why don't we just play at Wembley?
Yeah.
I understand the tradition of staying in one place, but if you think about it, right now, the Chelsea Football Club doesn't even play in Chelsea and never has played in Chelsea. They've been playing in Fulham all this time. So what's the difference with another city? And if we do move further away, you will still sell the 80,000 or whatever stadium because Chelsea is that popular. It's a worldwide team. It's just that the people going to the stadiums now might not all be people of that immediate neighborhood. I'll just leave now and just hear what you guys have to say. I've already said what I needed to say. Thank you.
All right.
Honestly,
Thank you,
Phantom,
Nick. Go ahead. Ty, can you give them a minute to respond to what Phantom just said? Give Nick and Bobby time to respond to what Phantom just said, please, if you don't mind.
Coach, Phantom is speaking sense for somebody who's foreign and doesn't even live here. He's speaking a lot of sense, and he has an understanding of the geographical area. The only thing I don't quite agree with is the issue of the roads, because London discourages motor transportation anyway, and if you're going to games, you would go by train and public transport. But that notwithstanding, it is the sheer numbers, the whole health and safety issue, the policing, that is the issue. And if it is not financially viable, the whole reason we're expanding is to bring in revenue, right? Now, if we consume that revenue in the cost of expansion, it makes no sense. Roman went to Battersea power plant because it was cheaper to expand there, and you could expand larger there than at Stamford Bridge. That was all agreed with everybody within the club, but in the end, the council sold to the property developers rather than Chelsea. That's what scuppered that deal. And then he came back. He looked at Earl's Court. The same thing happened with Earl's Court. And then he thought, well, where else can we go? Let's try and redevelop Stamford Bridge, since that was the preferred place of all the fans and still is. But unless somebody comes up with some brilliant plan and is able to expand significantly in a cost-effective manner, we have to face the reality that we will need to move to Mitcham Junction. Maybe the Twickenham conversation should come in. We will need to move, and it will be to that kind of greater West London area where there is more space. That's just the reality. Now, will the pitch owners hold the club to ransom? Well, they didn't when there was a possibility to move to Earl's Court. They didn't when there was a possibility to move to the power station. I doubt if they really will when they see the reality of the logistics and that this is financially driven for the benefit of the club. And if they insist on too much of a payout, well, you got a question. Are they fans or not? I don't think they'll take that route.
Yeah.
Nick, I'll come to you. I've explained to Ty. I need your response to that question, and I want you to also tell me whether the Chelsea pitch owners, whether they really do care about the growth of the club in terms of expanding the stadium. If what the new owners have in mind cannot be achieved within the current vicinity or area, if you prefer. Go ahead, Nick. Respond to Phantom's input and also the question I just asked you.
Phantom, you can go back to Fulham and don't come to Chelsea, because you haven't got a clue what real Chelsea fans are thinking.
Well, he told you
Chelsea
before
fans,
that only happens if the Ricketts win.
Yeah, see, what did I say about the Ricketts from the... Look, I said about the Ricketts, they had no chance in hell when Roman was sanctioned and when we heard about the name Ricketts. Now I'm telling you the same. This ain't going to happen. You can wish to go to wherever you want to go, but Chelsea is not moving from Stamford Bridge. You can, if that happens, you can come back to me and I'll give you £1,000. All right?
Nick, even to the detriment of the club,
Yes.
even to the financial crippling of the club.
Yes, forget the financial thing. First of all, it's our heritage. You know yourself, most fans, and Roman knew, most fans didn't want to move from Stamford Bridge. That's why he made that plan.
Now you're talking
That's why he made the plans to rebuild it and to go to Wembley for 3 years. What was that about?
So,
You haven't mentioned it?
Yeah. So, Nick, do you think the new owners can pay to move with the name if they want to? Because this is, whether we like it or not, this is all business. Our attachment, our love to the club, how much we love the club, you know, how much bond we've over the years,
all,
developed with the club.
Wait a minute, Coach. Look, first, you know, all the supporter groups, Chelsea Trust, pitch owners, they've met with all these bidders, and this is the main topic they had about the Stamford Bridge. You know, what they're going to do. And they promised to redevelop it, not to move out of it.
Yeah, but it may not be financially viable.
Forget financially.
Can't forget the world works.
That's where I'm going to come in, Nick. Nick, can I ask you this? Nick, you accept that whether we like it or not, Chelsea is a business, first of all, especially now.
Yeah. Look, football is a business. We can't do nothing about that.
Exactly. So the owners, the new owners, or whoever becomes the new owners or the new owner, will always prioritize what they must do for the club to be, bringing in profits, because it's not going to be easy now, especially that we don't have an owner who doesn't care how much he spends or about profits. So do you think that the Chelsea pitch owners, there's an amount that they will see from the new owners? They say, okay, you want to move, okay, move, but pay us this amount.
Because
after all, it is business.
That won't happen because the majority of the members and everything, they will be against it. They won't let that happen. They're going to let certain people make millions of money for Chelsea to move out of Stamford Bridge. That won't happen.
But do you also think, let me ask you this immediately, Nick, since I'm still with you, do you also think, I think there's a possibility that the owners will say, okay, if you don't want to, come to a compromise, if you want to phrase it that way, then I'll move the club. You can keep the name. Do you know there's a chance that will happen?
Yeah, there's a chance of anything happening. Nothing's impossible in this world. But, I don't think it will happen. But if they do that, and the majority of the Chelsea fans, they don't want to, accept what they're doing, then they can move out. But we're going to have Chelsea's name to us at the bridge. So we're going to have a different. We're going to have the name. Nothing much is going to change, because we're going to have the name, and we can build up a Chelsea real football team. Like Wimbledon and MK done, Wimbledon FC done. It's going to, that's the only way, and that's stupid to happen. That's the worst thing.
You may find that you are faced with a simple choice. Either you stick with your name and stay in the doldrums of mediocrity, or you move with reality, and you may need to move location. That is just the truth. So
I wouldn't personally, Bobby. I told you
nothing.
Personally, I wouldn't. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but I wouldn't. Never. Not in my life.
You want mediocrity.
Okay.
I don't care,
Nick,
what happens. We've had that before. We were
Nick, did you say? Let me ask you this, Nick. Did you say you're a pitch owner yourself?
What?
Did you say you're a pitch owner yourself?
No, I'm a member of the Chelsea Trust.
Okay, you're not a pitch owner. Okay, because I'm wondering how the pitch owners themselves will be arguing this. But whatever we argue here, we must remember that they had an agreement with Roman when the initial plan was to move go to the power station area. But that's, by the way, this coming here by Bobby said the pitch owners are
coach. Yeah, but not everybody voted on that. Not all the fans, like the Chelsea Trust and all these, they didn't vote on that. That was just a pitch owners.
Here's the thing, Nick. I get your argument.
Yeah.
The fact is, no matter how we see it, change is difficult.
Exactly.
Change is difficult.
Yeah,
And
but
the fact is, no matter how little or how big the change is, there must almost always be some measure of resistance.
All right, look, let me say this. For you, because you're in America, for a lot of others on the chat, they're not in London and they don't go to Stamford Bridge. They want to go, I know, but they can't go. Some they come when they visit London, they go. But most fans, you ask me, you make a poll now, go make a poll and see how many are against to moving out of Stamford Bridge. And I'm sure
you're
we're going to win the vote.
You're making
Just
it
make a
sound
poll.
like an elected vote.
Yeah,
If
make a
we
poll.
don't have a choice,
I'll make a
fans will
poll.
think differently. You need to lay down a reason to them.
No, I wouldn't.
And
Bobby,
they
I
will
wouldn't.
reason
I
with
prefer to play. I prefer Chelsea to play in the second division if we have to. They
then
move from the bridge.
Okay, so Nick, let me make my
very-
point. I will come to you. Let me make my point, Nick. We've established this as a business after all, whether we like it or not. And again, what I was saying is this: a change is difficult, and no matter how minute or how small the change is, there must almost always be resistance. But the fact is, the moment the change takes place, people will warm up to it. That's how it is. I've been in business and I've managed some people under me to know sometimes when you want to change stuff, you get resistance, but you just go ahead and do it anyway. If that's let me say the advantages of the change is if it's going to do the organization more good than not, implementing the change. You implement it and people will go, wow, this is actually good. This is actually better than what we had before. And no matter how we see it, that change will come. Either it comes after remaining at Stamford Bridge.
I just saw a good comment there. Bring up Fraser's comment there. Can you see it?
What does he say about what does he say?
The Chelsea? It's not about just Chelsea history. It's about from the Crusaders' time, something like that. Have a look.
Yeah, okay. I've seen it. I've highlighted it. I'll go to it in a bit, and I will talk about it in detail in a bit. So my point is this: this is something that will happen whether we like it or not. There's a chance it won't be moved. There's a chance, but it will cost a lot of money to expand it to an acceptable size and from a business perspective if it remains at Stamford Bridge. There's also the possibility of pitch owners saying, "Okay, pay us this amount, and we can let you move the club to a certain area." That's up to you. We're just having an educated conversation, civilized conversation, looking at things, from every angle, and then we believe we can come to a sensible conclusion and say, okay, this is what is actually more doable, and this is not doable. But again, it's not a fight, and I like the way it's going so far. Nobody is insulting each other. It is a debate, so sometimes the one party might come across as insulting or as aggressive, but I hope we're all mature enough to take things with a pinch of salt and not make it a fight.
Coach, can I give you some figures? Can I give you some figures?
Yes.
Right. If Chelsea, who are currently at a stadium capacity of 42,000, increase to the said 62,500, which in itself is restrictive, we are looking at a GDP of 70 million transforming immediately to 200 million. It is an astronomical improvement. It is inevitable. It is common sense. We must increase capacity. Now, if the increase in capacity becomes financially unviable at Stamford Bridge, in that it diminishes that increase in revenue, we must look elsewhere. That's reality. Sentiment means little. That's the point. Unless we want to stick in the doldrums of mediocrity, and nobody is buying Chelsea Football Club to do that. Period.
Yeah. Again, I'll come back to you, Nick. Ty, how are you doing?
Well, can I just make what Bobby said now? Can I just remember something? 1 second.
Okay, Ty, can I okay, go ahead, Nick. Ty's been waiting for a while, but
Bobby,
go ahead.
I heard what you said, but I forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, don't you think? It's gone out of my mind now. I had a good point to make. What you were just saying. Yeah. Look, I remember now. Look, I was talking to a lot of fans lately, and they prefer to stay as it is, leave it 40,000. I'm against that, of course, because there's not enough seats. But a lot of them, they're happy with Stamford Bridge as it is. They don't want to move from that place, and they're happy.
Might have to end
They
up
don't want.
supporting
They don't
someone
even.
else because
A lot of them don't
Bobby,
don't
let him
even
finish.
care. They don't even care if we redevelop it or not. Some of them are saying if we make it a 60,000 capacity. Last night I heard this from someone. I told him he's an idiot. There won't be any atmosphere like the 40,000 we have. What that doesn't make sense. I told you ain't got a clue. What an idiot. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. We have to be bigger. We have to, make it 60,000 at least. I'm sure it can be 62 or 63 even. With these people are coming in all the billions. Put their money where they should. Not just about buying players. We have a great academy players. You know that we have the best academy in the world. We don't have to go out and buy stupid prizes like we did with Lukaku, 100,000 for that. And look where he is. So we have all that. Rebuild the stadium, then you can talk about players.
Coach, you're a businessman. Those figures I gave you, would you turn your back on it after you've made an investment in something?
I think you already know my stance on that. I wouldn't. I will do anything to maximize, to get that is what I've invested in the club. Whatever possible, I would too. Yeah. Sorry?
I said it's the purpose of the investment. These guys are coming
it's to get a return on your investment, make some gain, actually make some profit, because it is a business after all. But like Nick here agreed, it is a very, very complicated situation. It's not that simple, and that's why we're talking about it. I hope we'll learn a lot from it. So let's let the Ty come in. Ty, your thoughts? Or is he gone?
No, I'm here. I'm still here.
Go ahead. Your thoughts on the. You could argue. You could call it the stadium conundrum, because it's not that simple. But before Ty starts talking, please, if you haven't, make sure to like the video. The more likes we get, the Google algorithm, YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the stream will be pushed to more people. And if you haven't, make sure to smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Ty, go ahead.
Yeah. Man, these are the conversations that I love, because you have so many different opinions, everyone having their own thoughts, and the only thing that differentiates is the fact that no one has come with a lot of emotions. But for me, obviously, I don't know the entire history of the stadium and everything, obviously, because of my age. But what I can say is that if you look at the points that I heard, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult to really redevelop that stadium, considering the repercussions that will follow, considering the location and how obstructive it will be to a lot of other businesses and other things. However, when it comes down to that, I think everybody, if you look at the reports, each of the bidders were saying that they'll try to redevelop the stadium so that it will be able to accommodate 60 plus. It's basically grasping at straws, pulling at straws, trying to see what can work. And let's not forget, Todd Boehly, he decided to get a tour of the entire place. He went to Cobham to see the things, because he has to see what can be done. He needs to see what plans he can execute, but without having no visual of what the place looks like, he can't make that decision. And obviously, if it's a case where at the end of the day, I can understand what Nick Blue was saying about not going too far away, because if that happens, then technically you're gonna have issues with the names and everything. But at the same time, you have to be open to change. Yes, I know there's a lot of historical things behind it, but over time things evolve and things change, and I guess it's unfortunate that things have to be, but for the sake of wanting, to be benefiting financially from the stadium as well, you have to expand and you have to be open to take necessary changes and to take necessary, precautions and be able to do things whenever it's necessary. And I find it pretty strange that you'll have people who will say that they don't care about it because yes, you're earning things from merchandise and things like that. But if and that's not the only thing. People, there has been a lot of clubs that complain about the size of a lot of places in Stamford Bridge. So it means that there has to be some redevelopment, and if you're having to expand on it, obviously, like Bobby was saying, it's going to become space. It's going to become an issue when it comes to the space because the space necessarily isn't the greatest, and then you have certain places that are connected to the stadium as well. So you're going to be having to do things. So yes, if the case is that you want to expand it, you're gonna have a lot of issues, and it's gonna cause a completely difficult transition.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's not as simple as that. I think we can all agree with that. Bobby, you want to add anything to what Ty says before we look at the next thing we want to talk about here?
Yeah, I just want to add this. Yet again,
Hmm.
I'm quoting figures, hard figures. At the minimum restrictive expansion that we are looking, which is up to what, 62,000, that
Hmm.
would give the club an net increase in revenue of 50 million a year. Now, anybody with half a brain making an investment must do that. It is common sense. Now, a further expansion will create further profit. But this profit can only be had if the ability to expand is financially comparative. That's the point I'm trying to make. If it is too expensive to develop Stamford Bridge with all the complications of the uh, uh, um, issue with the pitch owners, which I don't think is that big an issue, if you give them common sense. The issue with the people that live in and around the area being compensated, the issue with the power lines and building high up, and the issue with the railway lines and the water building low down, because the expansion plan for Roman built up and built down. That was how it was able to reach that capacity. If there are too many financially crippling expenses, let's say if it costs us, just for want of a better word, just to throw a
Hmm.
figure, if we find that developing Stamford Bridge is going to cost 20 billion, for example, just a silly figure, 20 billion. Of course, and if you go to Mitcham, you can build twice the size of the stadium and get twice the revenue for, say, 1 billion. It's a no-brainer. And that's the point I'm making, that we need to be a little bit more open-minded. Let's wait and see what the options are. The preferred option most definitely is Stamford Bridge. But if it is financially unattainable, we must look at a plan B. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, Nick, I hope you understand Bobby's point. But after that, do you have anything you want to add? Because he's clearly saying that is the easiest
Yeah,
option. Yeah, will be
yeah,
to stay at the
I know. I
bridge.
understand what Bobby's saying.
Okay.
Bobby always
Yeah, go
talks
ahead.
sense. I know.
Go ahead, Nick.
I know. I understand. But look at True Blue. What he's saying is true. I think Roman made it clear to these bidders, he doesn't want to move from Stamford Bridge. So that might be another thing. They might have to sign for that. I don't know. So they can't move. I hope it's the case. True Blue, I don't know where you got your information from. You see what, if Roman did that, that's a great thing because we won't move. But I understand, Bobby, about the finances, yes. But we can still redevelop Stamford Bridge. That's why, it's not impossible. because Roman already had it planned. It was all ready to go. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we must recognize, Nick, the license that's been granted has expired. You know that, right?
I know, but look, yeah, but the plans are there. They can get a license if they really wanted to. They will get the license again. That won't be the issue. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I really think that's what that will happen in the end. We're going to redevelop the bridge and say where our heritage is, and it's 1905 we've been at that ground. 1905. So we're not moving. No chance.
Yeah, again, that's a possibility. That's an option. And Bobby, before I come to you, I want to quickly go through the stream, and I want to bring you back to this comment on the screen. Let's talk about whether you think it's true or not. To me, I have my doubts because Roman is a businessman, and there's nobody that would say they know all the preconditions for the sale of Chelsea Football Club. We just, speculating because there's a lot of stuff we've talked about with Todd. Those were how things were going to be in the first place, and it turns out they were not like that. An example, there was a time it was rumored, the government has the final say on who buys Chelsea. It turns out one of the government most pronounced participation in the process is to make sure the money, the proceeds from the sale doesn't go to Roman. And also another thing I'm hearing that they will vet the new owners. But then again, that doesn't mean they have the final say. Also learned the Premier League are the ones to vet the owners, what they call the proper owner vetting or something. I forgot what it's called. So it's everywhere. What they argue are, whatever each person has to do. That's a role of each of the people parties participating in the sale process. So now let me quickly go through the chat, and I'll come back to you. Gabriel, can you please mute your phone? When I come to you, you can unmute. And I hope you're welcome to the panel, and I hope you're doing well. I can just quickly do that for you. So let me go through the chat again. This is says sources close. Okay, that's it. We'll talk about that later. I highlighted the comment, so it's not going to anyway. See, it proves to us why they were okay. That's about the Ricketts family. Sources close to. Okay, we'll talk about that also later. Isn't the first papers to make sure Chelsea FC keeps existing? Yep. Reminds you if none of this stuff with Roman happened, none of you would be talking about this as the truth. The new owners will not be locked in the Stamford Bridge. Yep. If the profits focus, they'll be looking to see how much more they're gonna make if the stadium it's even more possible to build a bigger stadium at another location. And Phantom here says the cheapest way is to play at okay, 90,000. Wembley Stadium would not require any new construction. Okay, Roman has spoiled these Chelsea fans into believing that financing of the club doesn't matter. I think we can agree with that. And I'm not sure whether the Chelsea fans are even ready to face the new reality. So now that brings us to this comment here from True Blue. Bobby, do you think this is true? And I like it that when Nick said, okay, where do you get that from? I know Nick hopes it's true, but the fact is, how do we confirm this is true? Bobby, do you think this is even possible?
I think Roman, having had the experience and the journey and tried to look at all options, he may say, look, you must be committed to the expansion of the club. For sure. He will say that because he knows that the finances are tied to that. With a preferred option of Stamford Bridge, showing every commitment to look and see if we can carry that out at Stamford Bridge. And nobody's not saying it's possible. A lot of them believe it's possible. And because they believe it's possible, I believe it's possible. But you see, the reality still remains. My concern there is the way inflation is going, is it going to be financially viable? And if they find that, it's possible, it's possible for me to buy an F-16 aircraft. Is it financially viable? Well, unfortunately, at the moment, no. So, this is the thing. This is the reality of it all. and this is what I keep highlighting, and you've made a very, very important statement. Roman spoilt us a lot. He wrote off debts. He underwrote a lot of expenditure that the club as a whole did not have the capacity to sustain. You know, people talk about the financial muscle of Real Madrid, yada, yada, yada. It's only because they've got the bigger stadiums. That's where it all comes from. And also merchandising and all that. Chelsea can compete with anybody on the merchandising front, but we're crippled by the size of our stadium. So it must increase. And all I'm saying is that as we face the new reality where profit, it becomes the end game, it may not be the initial game, but we're expecting these people to come in, sink about 3 billion to buy the club in the first place, thankfully without debt, but sink about $1 billion plus into the stadium, $1 billion into all the other facets of the club, the players, contracts, and everything. Eventually, they are going to want to create a machine that is generating profit so that eventually they will get their money back. And I can assure you, if the development of Stamford Bridge is not financially viable, they will look elsewhere. It's just common sense. They'll explain.
Yeah. Okay. Let me come to you.
Coach,
yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Nick. If you want to respond, I have a question for you after that because there's something that came to mind when Bobby was talking. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. Look. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Bobby. But say we did go somewhere else and 70,000 capacity, but you know it's not guaranteed. Wait. Look, I haven't finished. It's not guaranteed it's going to work. We can go downhill. We've seen it with Tottenham. We've seen it with Arsenal. So don't think moving somewhere else with a bigger stadium, changes everything, because it doesn't. We have more chance to stay at the bridge with our academy coming through. We don't have to buy big players. They have, these owners, these billionaires, whatever, they have enough money for the next 2-3 years. And that 60,000 stadium will be enough to challenge City or anyone else.
But the fact is, if you're a business owner, go ahead, Nick. Are you still saying something?
If you move to a bigger stadium, a different place, it could backfire a big time. You have to think about that as well.
How can you tell me how it could backfire, Nick? I want to know
how, because I've seen it happen with Arsenal and Tottenham in a way. They've moved out of their sacred grounds and look, where are they now?
Arsenal and Tottenham's revenue has increased exponentially.
So what? It's not about revenue, Bobby. Football is not just about revenue. It's about the team, how he succeeds. How many trophies have we won, and how many have they won? With a 40,000 capacity.
Well, in the past,
I think if you want to talk about their success, I think it comes down to other factors, not even related to their stadium. If you ask me, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it doesn't mean if you go to a bigger stadium somewhere else, it's going to work. It could backfire.
No, it doesn't guarantee success. It just guarantees. It
doesn't guarantee nothing. No,
yeah, exactly. It guarantees increase in revenue for sure.
So what? That doesn't guarantee success.
Okay, let me ask this.
It could backfire badly, I'm telling you.
I get your point. Let's talk about this, Nick.
Yeah.
Let's digress a little bit and talk about this. It's come to mind, and I think it's important we talk about it. Bobby said something about this comment that says how spoiled we Chelsea are, and I know you will agree that we're spoiled. We're really spoiled, and that's why the reason. One of the reasons why, when the Ricketts were still in the running, I put out the poll, some percentage of the club's supporters want them to become the owners because they've, added more people to their consortium, and they were worth around 50 billion plus. So people cared nothing about how their background, their past. All they cared about was how much they're worth. So that's how we're spoiled. But the truth is, there will never be another Roman in terms of spending and then writing it off. That will never happen again. Let me ask you this, Nick. Do you think, I know you agree we're spoiled, do you think the Chelsea fans are prepared for the new reality?
What's the new reality to move
The
away?
new reality is that we most definitely were gonna get owners or owners who are profit focused, who are never gonna write off any loan
I
or
know what
anything
you're
they
saying.
put into the club. They will expect to get money back, and they're never gonna say, "I want this player, go get it at any cost." That will never happen again.
Yes, that's
and there's a chance, and I know you talked about it yesterday. There's a possibility we get Todd Boehly, who says he likes to work with data. Working with data doesn't only come down to looking at the player performances when they were at the club in England, when the player was at the club in Germany. And this data also means checking, okay, if we buy this guy, how much are we gonna make in sales of merchandise and all that, So you go ahead. Let me know. Do you think we're ready to face the new reality? To me, I'd say I don't think so.
Yeah. No, not do I really. We're not. We've been spoiled badly by Roman, and when eventually the new owner comes in, we're going to see what they do and how they react with a stadium issue. We're going to see, but we don't know nothing right now till we know the new owner. It could be there's three of them out there. I don't think Pagliuca has a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's between them two, Broughton and Todd. Yeah. So we like I said, you have to have these owners who come in. Eventually, they can make a poll, have a poll to all Chelsea fans, and see if they want to move out. That's the only thing I can think of. If they want to do that, if they can't rebuild, that is, they have to look at the rebuilding option first, like Roman really wants as well. So
yeah, man. And Nick, I have to say something. I appreciate your honesty, because even though you have your that is your very, in terms of presenting your opinion, you're very strong. But again, you look at things, you say, okay, this is truthfully what it is, and I appreciate that. Bobby, I'll come to you in a bit, but I'll go to Ty to give his opinion. But I'll breeze through. I'll breeze through what we have here. I think I've seen this guy before, so I'm gonna let him in. He came in here and was trolling, so don't waste your time. I'm not gonna let you in, buddy. I'm sorry, you've ruined your chance of even getting a chance to talk on Chelsea Perspective before, because I remember what you did the other day. If Bobby Fergie says, let's not buy world-class talents anymore. Let's rely on youth players so that the pitch owners can protect their financial interest. That's a possibility. But what I'm getting here, that is the part that matters to me. Part of this post that matters to me is regarding the use of youth players even more. I think if Todd Boehly emerges, if his group emerge as the new owners of Chelsea Football Club, we're going to start seeing that more and more, and not spending a lot of money in bringing in players, and that's what Arsenal, what they do mainly. And I don't think Chelsea fans are ready for that. But that's by the way. And here says, Madabuchi Daniel Ede sounds like somebody that's from my place in Enugu State, Nigeria. Nice to see you here. And if you haven't, please make sure to smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. He says change is constant and it's coming to Chelsea Football Club. And that is absolutely the truth. And like I said before, change is difficult, but change is constant. Whether you like it or not, change will happen one way or the other. The only difference is how do people take it, and people take change differently. How about use of Wembley for the big C's? Stay at Stamford Bridge for the games against Watford. Again, we could do that. Big up Just Viola says a tie. Usually, as the player and staff, when a new place is incorporated, it takes time for staff and players to adjust to the new facility. Therefore, results are erratic in the initial phase, but it's important. Abhishek Das, that's a good input here. But I want to ask the panel. Let me start with Ty because he hasn't spoken for a while. Ty, your thoughts on this comment from Abhishek?
Yeah. It has some truth, because obviously and it's not only, you know, when someone relocates, it always tends to happen in a lot of occasions. You have to adapt to the new atmosphere. You have to adapt to the changes, because if you're used to something and then the setup is completely different, you have to get used to the height of the building, situations like that. But yes, it is important that, you know, in some cases that you relocate. It benefits well, in this case, a business. So you have to, whether it's to improve and you're not able to improve in that particular location, you have to relocate, and then you have to, you know, move into a building that has more accommodation. It allows you to have more, you know, space, you know, to fulfill your complete, you know, intentions when it comes on to the success. So yes, it is difficult as well, but it is important, and it is important that at the end of the day that change happens, because without change, then, you know, you can't learn anything, and change tends to happen, and you learn from that change.
Yeah. Change, the certain change happens. What's that from Mother Abuchi? I think I like that comment. I highlighted it. So, Bobby, coming to you before I go to Nick. Usually, you can. I know you can see this comment on the screen. Usually, as players and staff, when the new place is incorporated, it takes time for staff and players to adjust to the new facility. Therefore, results are erratic in the initial phase, but it's important. Your thoughts, is that even a factor to consider or be fearful of, or maybe be mindful of, if you prefer?
You know, it always amazes me when people that are resistant to change start throwing up all the negativities about change. Everything, even stagnation, has its negative impacts. And change is a risk. Everything in life that is progressive has an element of risk to it. But when you look at when you take a risk analysis and you look at the outcomes, and you see that the outcomes are gainful or positive, then you go for it. Now, that's why you have planning. When you build a new stadium or expand your stadium to increase capacity, you have short term and long term contingency planning in and around that project to keep you going and to keep you profitable, to keep you solvent, to keep you afloat, for want of a better word. It is poor planning that leads to poor outcome. Now, the results of clubs like Arsenal and Spurs was on the card anyway. Don't care about them. They're not Chelsea. Long may their poor results continue. But that's got nothing to do with their ability to increase revenue because of the increase in their stadium capacity. You have to put yourself in a position to win to win. And right now, we are swimming in treacle. We cannot continue with the capacity size stadium we have and expect to go out and fight with the super clubs in Europe, of which we are among. We must move with the times. We must increase capacity. It's a no-brainer. It shouldn't even be a conversation. It's a bigger conversation at Chelsea Football Club than any other club I've known. You know, it's quite simple. It's so clear to us. We need to do this. So all this, it may not work out well. Oh, this is just fear talk. And nobody has ever achieved anything when they've operated in fear.
That's well put there. Nick, I'm coming to you. Before I come to Nick, I'll breeze through the chat, Nick, and then I'll come back to this comment on the screen. Are you still there, Nick? Nick, are you still there? His mic is on mute. Looks like he moved away, but whenever he comes back, I'll talk to him. Again, I wanted to get Nick's thought on this because he's saying something about Stamford Bridge being a historical ground. So maybe he thinks, maybe
you hear me now.
Okay, yes. Just hold on 1 second. Let me breeze through the chat. I'll come back to you in a bit, brother. Blue Morning, a phantom of many topics. Yep, I like it when I hear that. That is brilliant for the bigger rivals. We play at Wembley for the games against Watford, Brentford, Burnley. You keep the game at Stamford Bridge. Instant increase in revenue with zero new capital. Again, that's a fight. Bobby Favy here says that's what's become of Stav. I'm not going to go too much into that. He would have benefited from this schooling from Bobby Smoky Signals. Yeah, I'm sure he would love to hear what you just said. But that's by the way. Comment to this comment on the screen here, Nick. Do you want me to read it for you, or can you see it?
Yeah, read it. It's not very big on
It says it is from Abhishek Das. It says usually as players and staff, when a new place is incorporated, it takes time for staff and players to adjust to the new facility. Therefore, results are erratic in the initial phase, but it is important. He recognizes that maybe when moving it's important. You just have to do it, but things like this happen. Is that something you believe in? Because you were sounding like you were being superstitious about the whole thing. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Say we do move out to a different area, different stadium, new stadium. Of course, it's going to affect results. It's like it's been proven it affects results because every team who's built a new stadium, they've gone downhill in results. It's not just Tottenham and Arsenal. So I can name you a lot of teams who build new stadiums. Bolton Wanderers, look at what's happened to them. Where are they now? That's one. There's a lot of teams who've gone bankrupt because they moved to a new stadium. So, yeah, that's a good point. Very good point he's made. And of course, it will affect the players. It will affect everything. That's why it's better to rebuild at the bridge. I'm more or less 99% that will happen. Out of 100, 99% we can rebuild the bridge. And I don't mind moving to Wembley for a few years if we have to make it, a brand new stadium. As long as we keep the ground, that's all. I'll be happy because we have more chance. We have more chance getting bad results anywhere else. Even if we go to Wembley for a couple, 2-3 years, results might not go our way. That's why I was hoping to do it in stages. Like like Bobby knows, we've done it before. We had 2 free stands. Nearly, I forgot for how long. Was it 2 years, Bobby? 2 seasons, I think, or 3. We had 2. To build the Stamford Bridge. What we have now.
It's about 2 years, I think.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah. So I don't mind that. That'd be my option. Because it does affect results. That's it will affect us.
So
that's
now, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I said it's a good point he's made.
Again, I knew you were going to support that because, like I said, you were sounding like you're a bit superstitious. Some people are. I'm not, but I get your point. Even we've had coaches who are very
specific. I'm not superstitious. I never have been. Maybe a little bit in some things, but not for Chelsea Football Club.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm just repeating myself. You know how.
Let me ask you this, Nick. Yeah. Let me ask you this before I go to Robbie, and I think I'd like us to talk about this comment on the screen because it's important. What I want to ask is this, Nick. Do you know of any club that have changed their name before?
Wimbledon to MK Dons, but they still had Wimbledon AFC. I don't want that to happen to us. That's
okay. And any other club?
I can't think right now. I don't think many clubs have changed their name.
And do you think? Okay, and do you think? I know you tell me that will never happen for some reasons, or you believe. Do you think Chelsea the club's name can change from something else? do you think the new owners can change the club's name? Are you there, Nick?
We have no.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you
know.
now. Yeah, my question
Yeah.
is, do you think the new owners can possibly change the name of the club if they want to?
But that's not down to them. They're going to have a lot of opposition with that from the fans. I don't think they're going to really want to fight with the fans. So I don't think, they can try, but I don't think they will. I don't really think they will do that. Because they know
do
they
you
have
think there's a possibility?
No, to take Chelsea's name and go somewhere else? I don't
No,
think
they're not going to take the Chelsea. Yeah, there's a possibility. Here's where it comes in. Here's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
I'm not accusing the Chelsea pitch owners of anything.
No, it's nothing to do with them.
Yeah, I'm coming. Let me let you know why I asked you that question. If you know of any club that have in the past changed your name, and you said Wimbledon, they changed your name to MK Dons. Now here's where that comes in.
Wimbledon.
If the new, exactly.
Used to be Wimbledon FC. And then and then they split up and they made Milton Keynes Dons and AFC Wimbledon. Now they have to but eventually though they went back to Plough Lane.
Okay, here's why I asked that question. Yeah. Now the new owners, if they want to move, if for instance, let's just believe it's not going to happen, I'd actually like the club to still remain at Stamford Bridge if there's that possibility. And then engineering, there's nothing engineers cannot achieve. The stadium can even expand it to 80,000. It would just take a lot of work, cost a lot of money. If the new owners find a new space and say they want to move, and the pitch owners say, well, you can't move with the name. We've established now from the question you answered, they just say, okay, you know what? They might decide, okay, we'll just change the name of the club, which is very difficult because branding isn't easy. I just wanted to make you, branding is not easy.
I'll tell you why they won't do that, because they're going to lose a lot of fan base. Because
that's what you think. It depends on how they approach it. There are those in the world, in the business world, whose job is to help you.
Yeah, all right.
Adjust your brand,
coach.
Yeah, go ahead.
Say they go somewhere else and they change the name. They're going to be London FC, whatever. And Chelsea's name is still at the Bridge. So you tell me what you think is going to happen in the end. They want.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Let me let Bobby help me answer that question, please. Then I'll bring in Eric. Eric, welcome to the panel, brother. How are you doing?
You see, unfortunately, I don't think that anybody's coming here with the mind to change the name of Chelsea. The name of Chelsea is Chelsea, and that's the franchise they bought. And yet again, I reiterate, the first priority is to expand the site at Stamford Bridge for sure, and everything will be done to make that possible, because one thing that's not negotiable is expansion. It has to happen. However, I go back to what I'm always saying. If it is not financially viable, we must look at alternatives. And
if in the process, let me say this. Let me say this quickly. And if in the process, Bobby, let me say this, it has to do with what you're saying. And if the new owners see that expanding and staying where we are is not financially viable, and finds a space by any miracle, because it's very difficult, we must say that, finds a space somewhere else and start having issues because of the name of the club. Bear that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing to me is that some fans, certainly not all fans, think that an obstinate stance is going to get them what they want. What it will do is that it will destroy the club. Because these people, if they have...
What would destroy the club? Sorry.
a rigid stance, a stance that is not flexible, a stance that's not open to compromise. A little bit of compromise in every situation leads to solutions and progress. Now, if you stand your ground for sentimental reasons, what you end up finding is that the club will be destroyed. The owners will then say, okay, we need to get our money back. We will then start to squeeze on what we have. And the club will be squeezed. And this is what we need to avoid. Encourage them to expand so that they can expand the club. If you restrict them, they will restrict the club. It's common sense. You know, all this power that we think we have, yes, to some extent we have some power, but sometimes power can be destructive. Stubbornness never progresses anything. You have to be open-minded. You have to be prepared to move with the times. If you're stuck in the past, you will die in the past. You know, you've got to be prepared for change. Change will happen in one way or the other. That is a certainty. So if you want to restrict growth, you will deal with stagnation.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that response. And I think again, we're not here to argue. To just say let's voice our opinion and that's it. We're here to look at everybody's opinion and come to a sensible conclusion. Does that change anything? No, it doesn't. Which is trying to see, okay, what is even possible here? I'm coming to you, Eric. Are you still there or you still away?
Yeah, I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me, Ross. Can you hear me, Ross?
Yeah, brilliant. We can hear you. First, I want to bring you up to par with us. The first question I want to ask you: how important is building a new stadium to Chelsea Football Club and as a club? Because you could argue of everything, notwithstanding everything we've achieved under Roman Abramovich, we do not have a stadium that befits, the status of the club as a European footballing powerhouse. How important do you think it is?
I think it's very important. This is something that Roman was interested in doing. He wanted to do it, but he was getting some.
You're a bit low.
Sorry, I'll try and speak louder.
Okay.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so I was saying that basically Roman was trying to do this, but he was getting the fans, the people from the supporters, the trust they went in favor. There were people who were trying to stop him from expanding the stadium. They were complaining that he's trying to take away some property in the surrounding area and things like this. But these people have to think about what is the best for Chelsea, what is the best situation for the club. And for me, it's in the best interest for the stadium to be expanded. It has to be bigger because the teams we're competing with have bigger stadiums than us. So it's huge. It's a very important aspect of being a big club in the modern era. You can't deny it. So for me, all these fans who think that this is some kind of huge negative situation, okay, fine. If you don't want to relocate the stadium to somewhere else, you have to think about expanding it. You have to consider making a bigger stadium. And obviously, it's not just about the expansion. The stadium needs to be redeveloped. It needs to be improved in some places. There needs to be some enhancements done on the stadium as well. So these things are important. And if you're a Chelsea supporter and you don't see this, like if you're a Chelsea supporter who is going to the games regularly, I'm sure you're aware of all of these things. So I don't know why people are prioritizing, being, in the position where they have all this authority to make threats. Oh, you can't use Chelsea, as the name of the club if you want to do that. Like, it doesn't make too much sense to me. So for me, these people just have to think about what is the best interest for the club, and go ahead with this because it's very clear, it's very obvious. And I don't go to matches week in, week out. I'm not a season ticket holder, but I'm aware that this is a huge concern and it has to be addressed.
Yeah, it's important for us to be financially viable. I think we have to do so. That is to measure up to other big clubs. I think it's important. Otherwise, I don't see the new owners saying, okay, let's just remain how let's just do it this way, and they're managing it like that. No, they're not. Roman, who's most important, what he wants most importantly is for the club to be successful. He doesn't even, he could care less about the size of the stadium. If it's becoming too, difficult to build, I think he wouldn't even worry about it that much as long as the club remains successful. But that's by the way. Let me start with Nick on this one, and I'll go to Bobby and Ty. Nick, this is a very good comment here that says the pitch owners and the fans are two different things. Make the case to the fans. Because we've been sounding like everything just comes down to what Chelsea what comes down to what the Chelsea pitch owners want, and not what really the fans want.
No, it's not what just the Chelsea pitch owners want. Because the majority of Chelsea fans is not the pitch owners. That's why I said give it. If they're thinking to go out of Stamford Bridge, give the chance to Chelsea fans to have their opinion if they want to do that before you decide to do anything rash. But I don't think that will happen. I keep saying it. They will redevelop the bridge. Like Eric Blue, I don't understand, is he for redeveloping or moving out? Eric.
No, but he just made this point that it's important we get the bigger stadium.
Yeah, of course.
But you want to know where he stands, Eric? Eric, tell him where he stands.
Okay,
You want us to redevelop or you want us to move?
I want what's best. So I think what can happen is we can redevelop and we can expand the stadium as well. That's what I'm hoping for.
Eric, let me ask you, don't you think to start the bridge and make it a 62,000 capacity is the best option?
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. That's what I keep saying. Most Chelsea fans, that's what we want. Even if we go away and play some games somewhere else,
but why were they against?
We come back to the bridge.
Roman was trying to do that. He was trying to expand the stadium.
Yes,
people were complaining.
Of course, that's what I keep saying. I don't want this option to move the club to 10 miles away or 12 miles away.
No. He wanted to expand the stadium, and people were saying that he's trying to,
I know,
remove the properties around it.
I've been saying that since Roman got the sanctions. One thing, and I'm sure I hope Roman's made a bit of paper so they sign, that before they take over, he says they can't move out of the bridge. I just hope that's the case. Then it will stop all these arguments about going somewhere else, because there's no somewhere else. Forget Elscott was ideal, was near. That's gone. That's out of the question. Battersea power station. That was ridiculous anyway. Who wants to go to Battersea? We're Chelsea. We're not bloody Fulham or anyone else. And we have to stay where we are. We've been there for 117 years, and you think someone's going to move out and take the name with them? No chance. That's what I keep saying. And just give it to the fans. If they think about that and if they have any idea, they should just let the fans vote on it, not just the pitch owners.
And like we agreed, Nick, I think we'll put out a poll to see what the fans think. I'll do that after the show. Yeah, but I want to quickly breeze through the chat, and I want Bobby to answer the question whether or not Nick just said here there's nowhere else to go. But I'll bring Bobby in to answer that question. Ty and then Nick and Eric, my brother Eric Blue. Everton Hudson says we have the pedigree and the trophies, but not the stadium to match these established achievements. That is such a delicious comment. Coachella mentioned my two brilliant ideas, more big rival games. I will look at that later. Everton again says, get the pitch owners on board. Now is the time to capitalize on our 20-year success. Get them on board on what terms you mean moving? I think they're already on board. If the plan is to expand the stadium where it is right now, what we've debated here is them fighting to keep the name should the new owners decide to move somewhere else again. But that's, by the way, Nicholas says, Ty invited me. Nice channel. Thank you very much, Nicholas, and thank you for obliging to Ty's invitation to come see the channel yourself. And if you're watching wherever you're watching from, if you haven't, please make sure to go check out Ty Talks, a CFC. I will also add his information to the description section the moment we're done. Great channel. He's a kid, but he understands football very well, especially from the perspective of Chelsea Football Club. And Chelsea for Life 79 says there's not really any sites in Chelsea and Westminster, Fulham, nowhere near. But we will have to leave at some point. That's a possibility, but you never know. It becomes even more difficult as the area develops. You must recognize that. Yes, that's the Queen of the House asking Nicholas to subscribe to the channel. I will subscribe. Thank you very much. That's music to our ears here. Thanks, Nicholas. Thank you too, Nicholas. Brentford done well with their stadium, but they had more scope. Yeah, I invited you, Nicholas, when he was close to 1K. He surpassed that. You're late. No, he's not late. Lateness is greatness, they say. But 79 and I both know that CFC has been a Fulham team since 1905. Okay, that's good point there, you too. So, Bobby, coming to you, your response to Nick's suggestion that there's nowhere to go.
Look, let me repeat myself again. This is all to do with revenue and the revenue progression of the club. There is, if, and this is a big if it comes down to it, there are difficult options, but there will be options. The whole Mitcham area thing could be reviewed. I don't know what the position is for that because it hasn't been an issue yet. The discussion in and around Twickenham, it's not popular with the people of Twickenham, but who knows what can come out of that. There are limited options, but there are options. So are there limited options to the redevelopment of Stamford Bridge. Now, if you put out a poll today to Chelsea fans, it's misleading. Do you want to stay at Stamford Bridge or do you want to move? I can assure you, unanimously, everybody, including myself, will say, we want to stay at Stamford Bridge, of course. But if you put out a factual poll saying, if you find that the redevelopment of Stamford Bridge is not financially viable and the club stands to lose out on revenue in the position they are in, would you favor a move elsewhere? Of course, people are going to consider it. And then the question will then be, how far away? Where is possible? Where do you have in mind? The reason people ask these questions is because they are considering it. Battersea Power Station was a solution. It was an agreed solution within the Chelsea community, but it wasn't attainable because the council for that area sold to the developers, whether they're Chinese or whatever, don't know, don't care, didn't come to Chelsea. The same with Earl's Court, which is even closer to Stamford Bridge, and certainly in the West London area. That went to property developers. So there's always competition for any space of land in London, because it's always very difficult. However, let me tell you, the lay of the land has changed. Because of what happened with Ukraine and way the geopolitics is going in the world, I think the level of competition from Chinese investors, Russian investors, who were the people coming in with huge sums of money and outbidding Chelsea for these properties, may not quite be the same as it was when Roman made a pitch for Battersea Power Station. So we stand a better chance. We must be realistic. Yes, 150%. If Stamford Bridge can be expanded to the 62,000 that they're talking about, a little bit of invention going on with this new standing area possibility, of course, people are going to embrace it with open arms. But if it is not financially viable, if it is too expensive for it to be profitable to the club, we must consider Plan B. That is reality. Let's stop living in fantasy land. Yes, Chelsea has existed for 117 years. It will continue to exist for another 117 years, even if it's located on the moon. Why? Because Chelsea is more than a location. It is a spirit. It is something that is conjured up from people's hearts and imaginations. It is a representation. It's a story. It's all played out on the football pitch, but it's more than its location. That's all I'm saying. Now, people want to keep that location because it is attached to the name as much as is reasonably possible. But we're not the first club to move a few miles here and there. It's been happening all throughout time. That's the point I'm making. And we need to be competitive. We are at the moment not competitive. And we're now going into an era where we, at the moment, will not have a owner who's prepared to underwrite all expenditures. Even Roman, with all the money he was writing up for the club, because of financial fair play, he himself realized that even he couldn't sustain the finances of the club, even if he wanted to. The club had to create its own sustenance, its own income generation. And the first port of call for that is in stadium capacity.
That's a good response to Nick's input. Again, we all have a good point. Ty, you want to come in before I bring in Phantom? I know you haven't spoken for a while.
No, you can let Phantom go.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can let Phantom go.
Okay.
Okay, Phantom, you go ahead. You looks like you just joined to say something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I typed it several times, but you didn't read it or consider it, I don't think. Okay, so we can leave everything the same. I think Nick can get we'll stay at Stamford Bridge, except for when we play Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham. Those games, let's just move those to Wembley and we can get 90,000 seats out of that. And that requires no new capital investment at all. You don't have to do anything to the stadium because we'll just play the bigger games at Wembley. Problem solved.
Wembley won't give you that for free. Revenue.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, you have to pay a price, but think of it as an algebra equation. Wembley will charge you a price, but if you get the 90,000 seats, you would sell more seats than at the 42,000 Stamford Bridge, and then it would still be a bigger profit than if you played that game at Stamford Bridge, and then you still get to keep the Stamford Bridge legacy because you'll be playing the Watfords and the Brentfords and the Burnleys at Stamford Bridge. So we would have two homes. What's so bad about that?
That kills everything. You're now giving a two-tier system. What's the point?
And just 1 second, I'll be out for a minute or two. You guys can keep talking.
Once Bobby is done
responding, once Bobby is done responding to what Phantom just says, Nick, you can come in. I'll be back in a bit.
The point would be to...
It's more than an increase in revenue. This is where Nick has a point. Chelsea Football Club is a franchise in itself. Now, you're talking now. The increase in revenue is attached to that name largely. Now, if we want to relocate and we are forced to change the name, we kind of become something else. People say, well, what's in a name? Well, there's everything.
I don't think you're understanding me. This is a separate idea.
I understand you perfectly. You are saying that, play the big games elsewhere and keep Stamford Bridge for the lesser games because of stadium capacity.
Yeah.
And the response to that is that, do you know that sometimes with these so-called lesser games, you can actually have more crowd participation than with the bigger games.
Okay, well then play all the games at Wembley, and that requires no new investment in building a whole new place or whatever. And if we change the name, change it slightly to Chel Lions or Chelsea instead of Chelsea with an A at
You
the end.
can't.
Just change the A to an E, and then we're no longer tied down to the other place. To the Stamford. Yeah. I mean, these are all ideas that you can increase revenue on.
They're not good ideas, Phantom. This won't happen. You can't play some games and some games there, some games here. That won't happen. And about the name, that ain't going to happen either. If it does,
well, we play our FA Cup games at Wembley. Wembley's an acceptable.
The best thing. Let me tell you, the best thing ideally is to knock down Stamford Bridge itself and make a new stadium like Roman was going to do, and we go to Wembley for 2 seasons or 3. That's no problem with me. But as long as we come back to our sacred home.
Well, I mean, but what's wrong with just every year playing the Arsenal and the Tottenham game and the Man City game at Wembley? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but you have to play every game. You can't play some there and some here. It doesn't work out. Doesn't make sense.
I think, Phantom, you're thinking a little bit too far outside of the box. You're misinterpreting the culture of English football and these clubs. That would never work. And in fact,
the Utah Jazz play 11 games in Las Vegas.
The who? Hello? Sorry.
The Utah Jazz play 11 games in Las Vegas every year. It works out fine.
That's the American setup. It's not quite the same.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
I think very deep-rooted cultural feeling here. It's not. It's not the same at all. This is a club that has existed in one location for 117 years.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. If you are a season ticket holder, and some of you are, would you be willing to go? I mean, if the owner said we're going to play the Man City game at Wembley, do you want to go or not? And you have a season ticket, and you're welcome to go to Wembley, and you're going to say, I'm not going to go to that game. I'm going to quit Chelsea forever because out of 38 games, 6 games a year are going to be played at Wembley. You're going to quit Chelsea over that?
So you're saying we'll have 2 homes? It doesn't work like that, Phantom. It's not the culture. We go to Stamford Bridge.
So this is not even about an American or British culture. It's about football culture.
So you're saying that you for those games, are you going to go to the FA Cup if you have the chance? It's not played at Stamford Bridge. It's going to be played at Wembley.
Yeah, because the meaning of the cup is that you play the final at the National Stadium. It's like going to play the Champions League final. You play away from home at a different location against the other team. That is part of the tradition, part of the culture of the game. But when you talk of your regular home games, you play it at home. That's why teams have home stadiums.
Yes, but during
the meaning of it all.
Okay, that's but during... sorry.
So that is the meaning of it all. And that's why Nick Blue is speaking like he is. Because he has that affiliation to Chelsea, that culture, that understanding, that link to the Holy Grail that is Stamford Bridge.
Are you the same person who was willing to move out of Stamford Bridge under different circumstances?
Yes, if it remains as our home.
Stamford Bridge. Okay, we have 19 home games. There's 38 games, right? Divided by 2, that's 19 home games. 5 of those would be played, or 5 or 6 or whatever the big teams are, would be played at Wembley. The rest of them would be played at Stamford Bridge.
Wembley is not our home. Everybody plays in Wembley. Everybody. Not everybody plays willy-nilly at Stamford Bridge. You've got to get permission from us.
Okay, I give up. I'm just a foreigner, and like I said, I'm on a year-to-year contract with Chelsea, so I don't deserve to have this
Again, it's important you brought this up, and we'll learn it because it's something. Football has a culture, and it doesn't change. You can't make a drastic change to it just because you want to make a profit. It will backfire. But if it's in America, I think your idea would be brilliant. But in terms of football culture, because of how stadiums are treated as home to each team, I think it's a very difficult thing to do.
Right, because in America, we follow the team, whether it's the Los Angeles Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Oakland Raiders. They're still Raider fans. Raider Nation is like a national thing with them. They don't care what stadium they play in. I mean, the Phoenix Coyotes moved up to Glendale to become the Arizona Coyotes. They might move back to Phoenix. They might move to Scottsdale. But, it's in the same city area. It doesn't matter. We follow them all around town. But I guess if for the English culture, if you move out of the stadium, I'm no longer going to become a fan. I mean, that's a very strange concept for us.
Go
ahead, Nick.
Let me answer him because he doesn't know what's going on here in England and most countries. Look, football is like Bobby said, it's a cultural thing. It's not like America. I know what Americans do. You have one team, you support one team, and they play different all over America, and you still follow the team. It's completely different. Football over here is different. You have to understand, this is a culture going back. How many years? In the 1905, before 1905. I'm talking about when it was formed. When football. You go and see the film. There's a film. Wait a minute. So you know about the heritage. So you understand football. Go on Netflix and put the game, what's it called? The British game, the something game. It's a brilliant film when football was first started and which first clubs were around. And in those days, you had clubs, Aston Villa were around, Man City were around. Chelsea, we wasn't around till 1905. But go and watch that film, and then you understand what football is over here. Bobby, you know the film I'm talking about?
Yeah. The history of football. It's like, listen, another thing, a concept that he needs to understand. Phantom, do you know that to this day, there are some towns in Britain that you cannot wear certain colours because of their football clubs? You go to Glasgow and go to the area that is Celtic and you wear blue, you'll be in trouble. And vice versa. You wear green, you'll be in trouble. To this day, it is so deep. It is a culture. I don't know how to explain it, man. It is hard to explain.
Okay, before you were saying it would be okay to move to whatever junction or to Wimbledon
if we.
But it is something that will be permanent. It's not like play here, play there, play here, play there. And again, it's something I want to say, Bobby. I'll bring you back in. Go ahead, Bobby. When you finish, I'll say what I want to say.
So you've hit it spot on. If, and that is a big if, because that's not the first choice. But if that happens, we would do that with the aim of making that location our permanent new home. That will be it. That will be where Chelsea is. It's not like, we'll play a few games at Wembley where everybody else goes and plays, or maybe we can play a few games here. No, that is not the culture. And believe you me, that will never be accepted. Never. It'll be difficult enough to get Chelsea fans. But that, I will say, forget it. It ain't happening.
Exactly.
Okay,
so Bobby,
I guess I don't understand then.
Yeah, I think this comment, I think, Phantom, I'm happy you came on and you said these because he opened up, and you can say an avenue for us to learn something new. But then again, more importantly, look at the comment on the screen by Chelsea for Live 79. Chelsea Live 79, he says, it's very tribal here. Football in England can turn the nicest man into an animal. I don't think it's just in England. It's a global thing. Football is tribal globally. And in any serious footballing country, it is a tribal thing. That's why home is always home. That's why you hear people talk about, like, for instance, when the US play at home, when this country play at home, but they're away today, they're home today, it makes a huge difference. So it is it is a culture thing, and it's a global thing. It's not just about the English. That's, for every footballing nation, it is tribal, and that's great comment, by the way. But I'm happy you brought this up. So we're gonna breeze through the comments again, and I'll come back. I'll start with Ty because he hasn't spoken for a while. And Madabuchi Daniel it says, so Chelsea pitch owners would rather let Chelsea go down with its name than embrace a change and work with the new owners for a better Chelsea. Let me say, Nick, this is you. How do you respond to this on the screen?
Yeah. Let
You want me to read it, or can you see it?
I can see it. Just Chelsea pitch owners would rather let Chelsea to go down with the name than embrace change and work. Yeah, I know what he's saying. Yeah, look, like I said before, it's not just about the pitch owners. This is about every single Chelsea fan, and all over the world as well. They have a say. They don't know as much. We're here in London. We're part of Chelsea. And of course we're going to be against taking the Chelsea's name somewhere else. That can't happen. That won't happen. But I was very interested. What the Phantom was saying, because he doesn't understand, because he's not over here. You come here and you go to some games, I know, but you have to go and see the film. When football was started. It started in England. England invented football. Then then it went everywhere else. But go and watch that film on Netflix, and you're gonna see what we're talking about. It's very important for you. Yeah, and anyone else who wants to learn the heritage and everything, what football means to us fans. But a few years ago, even Bobby was saying, you go to Scotland, you watch a rivalry between Celtic and Rangers. It's unreal. But years ago, he was here in London. I couldn't wear my Chelsea shirt going, on the tube station, going past Arsenal's Finsbury Park or Arsenal or Tottenham, because you had Tottenham fans on the train as well, and we used to end up killing each other. That's what it was like. I have experienced everything. I went to Millwall once, Millwall away, in the 70s. They knocked me flying. I was young and they were older. They took all my teeth out. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's not so bad now, because people, it's not like that before it was.
Nick, remember what used to happen at London Bridge Station?
Yeah,
on the Saturday afternoon, when all the different fans got...
of course. God.
Oh, my God.
You have to... I'm trying to tell Phantom what it's really like. You have to watch your film to understand.
Well, I can respect Nick's position that he never wants to move out of Stamford, but yours is actually more weird, because you're saying that you're willing to move to something junction permanently, but you're not willing to do this the split thing. Because, and in my way, you would actually keep 13 games out of the year at Stamford Bridge. Only with the big teams.
It can't happen, Phantom. That doesn't make sense. Look, we can, like Bobby and I'll keep saying, if we want to rebuild the bridge, take it down, new stadium, we play at Wembley or Twickenham for 2-3 years. That's like that will be our home till we can build that stadium, like Tottenham did, like Arsenal did. I mean, Arsenal didn't do that, did they? They didn't go to Wembley. They were still at hybrid, and they moved straight to the Emirates. There's a lot of possibilities, but the main thing is to stay at the bridge. How many times I have to keep saying that? I want a coach to do a poll.
I changed my mind. I don't think if it's not feasible to expand the stadium at Stamford Bridge, then I don't think it's worth the risk of moving to to
Yes.
any junction or anything like that. And now
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to
'cause,
stand
yes.
with Nick,
Especially,
because I think that he would actually drop the team if we move to a different stadium somewhere, or if the team was renamed London Lions, you wouldn't support the team anymore. So that's too big of a risk to move
Phantom,
out of Stamford Bridge. So
let me tell you one
congratulations on
thing.
keeping
Yeah,
third place
Phantom.
forever.
Let me tell you one thing before Matt comes in. Look, I support Chelsea FC. No other name. No other name can I support. And Chelsea FC, if like Bobby says, we will have to go somewhere else, but it's too far away. We can't take Chelsea too far away from where we are. For me, it's impossible. I can't see us doing that. And I prefer Chelsea to stay with the Chelsea name and be in the second or third division if we have to, like we was a long time ago. We were struggling and have to be like that, like we were, then moved to a different area. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, ultimately,
Saying
it's your
something?
team, not my team.
I want to welcome Matt to the panel. I'll bring him in a bit, but I want to hear Bobby. You wanted to say something?
No, I was just going to say that there's no way Nick Blue will ever stop supporting Chelsea.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not going to happen. And
Yeah.
I can assure you, without even knowing Nick personally, I know when someone has that blue in their veins, in their heart, it can't leave you. It can't leave you. Nick is Chelsea through and through. So yeah, I understand. I know where he's coming from. I know exactly how he feels. But
Yeah,
the only
you
difference
do
between
because
me and Nick is that
Bobby,
I'm looking at
because
other
you were there with
possibilities
me.
and he's
You
not.
were there in the bad days. You were there, when we were
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
nearly
I
went to the
know.
third division, but we still turned up at the bridge supporting our team. It doesn't mean because they don't win trophies we don't go. No, we used to go even more then. That's what
Hardcore.
you know what I'm saying.
Exactly. But do you know what? This could be a change that will be difficult, but it's not impossible if it has to happen. If it has to happen, I don't think it will. I think Stamford Bridge will be redeveloped, but we must be prepared for anything because nobody ever thought what would happen to Roman happened, but here we are.
Yeah. Matt, I want to bring you in. Welcome to the panel again. How are you doing, brother? And I know you scheduled a stream today. Is this still going to happen?
No, I'll put it to tomorrow because today I couldn't do it in the evening, so I kind of stay for a bit today. I was like, oh, I might as well just do it tomorrow. At least it gives me something to do after wait till 1 a.m. for the game. So yeah, that'll be on tomorrow. But no, on this, like, obviously it's fantastic that the Ricketts are gone. I mean, every Chelsea fan can finally sit here and say that we've won.
Yeah.
I said this on the terrace. I said big up to like Nick Blue. Obviously he's in the call now. Like a lot of people because they physically went there. And then like people like us, Priscilla, me, you, Phantom, I suppose Bobby as well. I don't know if Bobby's in London, but we obviously portrayed ourselves on social.
Yeah.
We put ourselves on social media to do this type of act. Like we even though we weren't there, we still kind of used our voices to be heard. So it's a good time to be a Chelsea fan because people, I saw in the comments yesterday after the terrace, like they were saying, oh, Chelsea in the mud. Like when we get a win, they're still so jealous of us that they have to still hate on us. So I don't understand these Bravo fans, but it's all right. We won, the fans won. The Ricketts tried to use the blame on some other stupid finance shit, but we really know that we won, and no one can take that away from us.
Yeah, it's a huge win for us. Bobby yesterday says he wants peace of mind, and thank goodness it's happened. So you any thoughts on the stadium or the issue and everything? And first, I want to say, let me quickly say this. I want to say big up to DJ Sav. I know probably you're busy. You're a very busy man. That's probably why you haven't joined. And quickly, I want to say something about one of our members here. We're like family here, Glenn. Glenn says because he is, I think he's undergone one surgery already, and he may go under the knife again. So, Glenn, if you can hear me, we'll be praying for you, and I hope everything will go well. Thank you for letting me know, and I'll have everybody in the house. Please pray for Glenn in case if he goes under the knife again, so that everything will go well. He's one of us, and we love him. And I think hopefully everything goes well for Glenn. So yeah, let's come back to Matt. Matt, any input you want to say? Anything you want to say regarding the stadium?
I mean, on that topic, like the stadium, it's gonna be a massive investment for us because we're going into something where we can technically double the profits. I mean, we're going into something where we're turning. Tell me if I'm wrong, Nick, Blue, and Bobby. If I think our capacity is 45,000, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So, can you say that again?
Is our capacity?
Yeah, you're right about that. 44 at the moment.
Yeah, 44. So using our 44 capacity, we're going to now upgrade that to what 70, 65. So I think using
around 60 at least. I think 60 is the plan.
Yeah,
a financial increase from 70 million to over 200 million, with a 50 million gross annual profit. Should it not be financially impossible?
And with that double, we're going to technically begin double investment, because when you think about it, 45,000 compared to 65, 70 conjures to us that we're going to now make better signings, and if the new owners come in and they create this like circle that we can now use this money to invest in the right things. Because maybe last time we hit the 45,000, it wasn't the best type of stadium. It wasn't like, obviously it's memorable and all that, but obviously the profits coming in wasn't as big. Now going into 65, 70,000 people, that's going to double it, even possibly triple it. So it's going to be fantastic. I think that was definitely something we've always had in the plans. But it's a matter of when. And Terry said yesterday that our Todd Boehly is a 50% hedge fund, which means that we've got to make profit first before we.
I think that statement has been debunked.
Has it? Yeah, because I thought it was as well. I was a bit confused. I was going to actually clear that with you guys.
Yeah, I think it has been debunked. I think they say, I think his spokesperson, I don't know who I heard that from, that says it's a lie. That's not what it's going to be. But even if that's the case, I don't think it makes any difference. But go ahead.
Yeah, so like, we'll assume no. But again, still the club, stadium, massive investment, the massive brick for us. It's going to be the start of something big, and I'm happy for that. But I mean, yeah, that's all I want to say about stadium situation. Nothing much to say. It's just going to be a good investment.
Yeah, thank you very much for that input. And everybody that's watching, please make sure to go check out Matt's new channel, Z Volley YouTube channel. Great content, and I think you will like it, and make sure to subscribe. And also do the same for Thai Talk CFC. Great content also. That's why I'm friends with them. You want to say something else, Matt?
No, I was just saying, I didn't know Ty was in. I was saying big up to Ty. I didn't see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's here. So let's round off the talk on the stadium by talking about what's possible and what's not even possible, including something we've alluded to here before: changing the badge, changing the name, or moving to a different place, the capacity and everything. Nick, I'll start with you. Can you tell us what's possible and what's not even possible in terms of rebuilding the stadium, changing the name and everything, just to round off this topic so that we can switch to the build-up to the FA Cup semi-finals between us and Crystal Palace?
Yeah, look, we all, even Bobby, everyone, nearly all Chelsea fans over here in England, for sure that we want to redevelop the bridge. We don't want to move from our home. It means a lot to us fans, a lot. And even the young generation, it means a lot to them. It's not just us old fans. It means a lot because they used to go into the bridge. It's become the second home for them and us. It's something special. And like me, I've been going there for over 50 years, and it's very special for me. I can't imagine not going to Stamford Bridge. That's impossible for me. So, like I said before, if for some ridiculous, crazy move by the new owner to take Chelsea somewhere else with a different name, good luck to them. They cannot put a different name and do what you want, because Chelsea will be Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Even if we have to, like I said before, start from scratch.
So Nick,
Even if
would
we
you
got,
be
even if
upset to a new stadium?
wait a
Would you
Nick,
be
Matt has a question for you.
yeah,
Go ahead.
sorry, man. Yeah,
So
go on, man.
I want to get this in while you're explaining. I just want to say, would you be upset if we had that new stadium? Because obviously the locality for you.
No, look, we can have a new stadium. We at the bridge, nowhere else. Like Roman was gonna do. You saw the plans. You saw the stadium. He found a way to make that stadium. Build it from underground, make it underground upwards, and that was a great plan. And we were going to play at Wembley for 2-3 years. That was plans. That I have. That's no problem for me, But to move to a different area for good, that's impossible for me. That doesn't work. I don't think it will happen. I think in the end they're going to find a way to redevelop the bridge, And even 60, 62, 63 is a good capacity. You don't have to be 70, 80,000. 60 is good enough. It would make a big difference because it's it's 40,000 now. We used to be 42,000. Now it's gone down. It's gone down. So we're 40,000 capacity really, and that's not enough for us fans who are members, and we can't get tickets all the time because it's not. Like Bobby said, we can't all be season ticket holders because of the silly money, and they're thinking to make it 4,000 next year. So only people with silly money can do that. That's another main reason we want a rebuild, but we have to. There's no question about it. We have to make a new stadium or rebuild it, but at the bridge, nowhere else. Yeah.
Can you, Bobby? Do you see the comment on the screen? And Chelsea, the Kingslayer. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here. And welcome to the channel. Feel at home. We're like family here. And if you haven't, please make sure to like the video. And everybody that's watching, make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That will go a long way. This comment here says, "Good afternoon." And that is very polite of Chelsea, the Kingslayer. He says, "You guys do realize a certain percent of any new profit will have to go back to redevelopment costs, right?" You want to answer that, Bobby?
I think Bobby's here. I think he's going to be back.
Okay, yeah, Matt, can you answer that?
Yeah, the 7% profit obviously does go into redevelopment because obviously $2 billion something the stadium will be, if anything. But that's going to be majority of it. But obviously, we still have to run the club. I think I'm not going to bad this at all, but I think people forget the point that we still got to run the club as well. But that's obviously a major aspect. So big up to Kingslayer. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the channel, and be sure to go check out Zivoli YouTube channel and also Tytalk's YouTube channel. Great content as well. Bobby, are you back or are you still far away? Oh, okay. So Nick, your response to this comment on the screen.
Yeah, what's that about again? About the.
He says, first he says hello. He says good afternoon. That's very polite of him. Like I said, he's asking, do you guys realize a certain percent of any new profit will have to go back to redevelopment costs? Yeah, that's common sense in business. You know, but you want to respond to that?
Yeah, of course it will. These bidders, all three of them, they all said they want to redevelop the bridge. No one said that we want to move out and go somewhere. And for them, and they have the money. For them to be bidders, they're billionaires. So let's see if they. Like I keep saying, I want to see what they do. But out of all of them, I think, like I said before, Todd Boehly seems more, into this, to redevelop the bridge, not to move out of it. And so let's see we won't know exactly till they come in power. Then we're going to see what they do. Really, we can all speculate right now, still.
Yeah, I think Todd Boehly, I think he has said something about employing the Liverpool approach, which fixing the stadium stand by stand or something like that, which means we're not going to move out of Stamford Bridge if he follows that approach. Again, I'm not against any approach. We have some stuff to talk about here. Go ahead, Nick. You wanted to say something?
That's why I want Todd Boehly to be the owner, because he's going to go on the Liverpool model, which it works. It works very well. You see how they don't have to be there. Liverpool is 59,000 right now. They're thinking to rebuild a bit more. So they have been 65,000 capacity in the future. And if we're 60,000, it'd be good. We don't have to be 80,000 stadium. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So I'm going to come back to you again. Let me quickly breeze through the chat. Fraser says we end up moving. That's why Todd Boehly hired Goldstein. And Fraser seemed to be very confident that Todd Boehly will eventually emerge the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. But that's by the way. And this is Phantom of Many Topics. Please make sure to go check out his channel. Also, he covers travel, uploads travel videos. Recently, he went to London, and he has some good videos that I think you'll enjoy. To expect you to behave as an American is not rational. That's a good one. Ghosting is a Spartan death. That's good to know. But they have to demolish the OUB. You can do like Liverpool. Okay. And this is Chelsea, the Kingslayer. So for example, it is not 50 million of pure profit. It will be like 25 million and the rest back in redevelopment cost, like Arsenal and Emirates. I think that's a great point. Maybe that's directed as Bobby. I don't know if Bobby is back. Bobby, are you back? I don't think he's back. But I think I get the argument. The whole thing coming, profits or whatever coming from the stadium, it will not be the whole numbers. Some numbers will still go back to the redevelopment cost. And I think that makes perfect sense. Fraser here says Chelsea will get a bigger sponsor than 3 UK, no problem. We don't want 3 anymore. They've shown that not really with us. That was disappointing. That was like a stab on the back, if you ask me. Big up, people. Just had a long week. Hope you all are well. I hope you're doing well too, brother. This is Ankit from Almighty Blues FC. Great channel, great content. And if you haven't, please make sure to go check out Almighty Blues FC and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you. You're kind. Welcome. Subscribe. That means a lot to you, to us. And again, welcome to the channel. Feel at home. Express yourself. And it's the Blue Morning Show is a daily show where we interact with the fans. It's not just about the panel. We give you the opportunity to express yourself, and we try as much as we can to address your input and questions. And I think you will enjoy that. So welcome. Let's all hit the like button. Please do that. We have just 42 likes. I think we can do better than that. We can get more likes, and that will help trigger the Google algorithm to push the stream to more people. And if you haven't, please do subscribe to the channel. We're a few subscribers away to hit 1,300 subscribers. We've been averaging at least 10 subscribers per day, and I think we can do better today. Donna Raymond says it's better to buy some properties around Chelsea for expansion, and if Chelsea also move some of their properties, offices to another location with this plan, it will be more easier to expand. Nick, your thoughts on this suggestion? It sounds something that is doable, but do you think it's doable?
They said to move away again. Yeah.
Not really move away, saying it is better to buy some properties around Chelsea. And I think that was Roman's idea. Buy some properties around Chelsea for expansion. And if Chelsea can move some of their properties, offices, to another location with this plan, it will be more easier to expand. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I think Roman already was doing that with the neighbors around the bridge. With even, if he was going to buy a lot of them out, he was going to redevelop the bridge. So that is possible. They can still do that. Why not? Yeah, I agree there. Yeah.
Yeah. Your thoughts? I don't know, Bobby. Let me know when you're back. Your thoughts on this idea, Ty? Ty, are you still available? If not, I'll go through the chat so that we can move to the build-up to the Chelsea versus Crystal Palace FA Cup
Yeah.
semi-finals at the Wembley. You have any input?
Yeah. I think.
This idea here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, you brought it back up. Um, yeah, I think that was the plan, and I think there was some mention of some hotels coming down, and
Mm-hmm.
I think like Nick Blue was saying that there was some plan, to buy some of the properties that is around the stadium. So
Mm-hmm.
it sounds doable, but the thing is, will they will it be accepted, especially for the offices part, will that be accepted?
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like it's doable, but the thing is, if they're gonna do that, they'll have to eventually move certain aspects of it, like the offices. So will that part be
Mm-hmm.
accepted?
Yeah. Okay. Let me breeze through the chat again. Thank you very much for that great input, Don Raymond. And this is Hey Ankit, and Ankit responded, and Ankit says, "Yes, I'd bite your hand off if we get the FSG model in the long run. Just got to keep a TT Marina check and call in your opinion. Thank you for that." And Frezo says, "Athletic," and Matt Law say Todd Boehly is favorite. Again, we're not part of the process. You never know until it happens. To me, I think, to me, if you ask me, I'd say, in my opinion, the strong favorites are the what's his name, Stephen Pagliuca group, given that they have the John Terry True Blues group joined them. I think, to me, that's a giveaway. Maybe Terry knows something that we don't know, but that's, by the way, again, that's my opinion. And I can say Ghostin is a sports fan, but hopefully 100% professional. I think that's the case. He's there to do a job, but Bali will be the primary holder. Again, we must recognize that. Let's get over 50 likes. Yes, we can do that. New sponsor and new sleeves sponsors needed. I don't want to ever see three as our sponsors again. They backstabbed us when we were down. They kicked us. I will never forget that. Ankit Bali has 20% stake, if I remember. And again, this is True Blue saying, "Don't Raymond, the hotels are coming down, and all of the concourses will be used. Offices can be inside the stadium structure." Good input. They always get input from True Blue, and I like that one too. And Phantom says, "I have lived in 17 different homes and apartment flats, like many Americans, especially in Vegas, where Coachella." Why are you giving my location away? Or Phoenix, where I live. A home is just temporarily, hotel, different culture. Again, that's America. And again, I think Americans will also tell you, when you talk about future home, we talk about football, home will always be home. But thank you for that great input there. Ankit, I hope so. Things could have changed in the final beat. He will, however, be the face of the consortium. That's the truth. I will be back. Sorry, coach. No problem, brother. I understand. Okay, let me see. They won't win Coachella. That's a possibility. You can't say either. And the Raiders started in Oakland, moved to Los Angeles, back to Oakland, now plays in Vegas. Again, that's US. And my brother here, Dennis from Couch Critic, you the town itself. Bigger panel, all the best. Yes, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Please, if you're watching, make sure to go check out our Couch Critic YouTube channel. I think analytically, I think it's one of the best in the community, analyzing football from a tactical perspective. Go check out this content, and I think you will like it. So now I think it's only natural we should switch to the build-up to the game against Crystal Palace. That will take place at Wembley. I'll start with you, Nick. How big of a game is this, given that we're out of the Champions League? And I think this is the only cup competition that we're in right now.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. not just tomorrow, but we have to win tomorrow and get to the final and win it this time. Don't forget, we've been in the last 3 FA Cup finals and we've lost all 3. So, this is massive. And it's, and I have full faith with our team. They're going to turn up like they did in Real Madrid. And we say, it won't be an easy game. Palace will be up for it. They're the underdogs. It's a London derby. They've got everything to fight for. So the underdogs do come. They can win at Wembley. Going through the past years, I remember a lot of times when we were the underdog, and we beat the best team in England, Leeds United at that time. And took it to a replay and won the FA Cup for the first time in our history. That for me. That's the best time ever, the best game ever in my long life at Chelsea. That will never change. It doesn't matter. We can win 100 Champions Leagues, 10, 20 Premierships. But at that time, you know how big that was? The FA Cup was like bigger than winning the league. And we managed to do it against the best team in Europe at the time. That was massive. So, it's massive tomorrow. I'm just saying, the underdog, never underestimate the underdogs. And I'm sure Tuchel will be driving that to the players because it's so big especially to go and win the FA Cup, to say goodbye to Roman. That'd be unbelievable. And that's the least we can do for him. We can't bring him back to Chelsea, but we can do this for him,
I think you mentioned literally everything that there is, everything that defines or that makes it a very important game, must-win game. 1, it's a London club. 2, it is the FA Cup. 3, you don't underestimate the underdogs when you talk about the FA Cup. And again, talk about the magic of the FA Cup. The underdogs come to mind because anybody can eliminate anybody. And also, 5, you talked about how it is important to win that trophy, maybe as a Stamford for Roman Abramovich. So I must commend you for that great input there, Nick. Ty, coming to you, what do you have to say about the importance of this game? And again, Bobby, please let me know when you join them back. Your thoughts, Ty. What makes this game an important game? Okay, I think I'm going to come back to you again, Nick. And how important do you think it is from your own perspective? Go ahead. Go ahead, Ty.
I was saying that it's important. I was saying it's important because we have nothing else to compete in, and I mean, Tuchel would like to win this. Obviously, he would have preferred to win the Carabao Cup as well. Obviously, circumstances didn't allow that to happen. And I mean, he would like to, have a do-over in a sense, from last season, when we lost to Leicester City in the final. So he'd like to make it back there, and then try to, because both the opponents, because either way, if we make it, we're going to be facing one of the 2 teams that we weren't able to beat at all this season. So, so in a sense, he'll see to say that this is his final chance, and this time around, it will guarantee a trophy. Well, in Liverpool's case, it would have, if we had won the Carabao Cup, it would have been a situation where we faced somebody to win a trophy. Or if we end up facing Man City, we will have a chance to try to get a win against them because they have defeated us 2 times in the league. So it will be important in that regard. It will also be important because it will give the players some momentum. It will give them some happiness because obviously being eliminated from the Champions League after putting out such an excellent performance and being eliminated after 2 beautifully worked goals by Real Madrid, they would like to have some happiness, to know that they'll make it to some final. And I mean, the FA Cup has historic backgrounds, and it does, even though people don't really like what the reward is for winning it, you still get some European competition to compete in, but obviously it does pay more as a prize money and the Carabao Cup does. But the FA Cup, unlike you guys were saying, it has this intensity. It has this, this feeling, that anybody can eliminate anyone. And I mean, if we eliminate Crystal Palace, it will be good because they have done tremendously well to make it this far and make it to the semi-finals. It's not something easy, but they worked well, and I mean, it really just shows how far Patrick Vieira has come, since the start of the season.
Yeah, I think I missed that. We must recognize how far he's come and how good of a manager he is because he surprised a lot of people. Even me, I was thinking he was too progressive to his own detriment. I think I told Matt J. Bowles from World Blight Chess that I don't think he's pragmatic enough. But somehow he's been able to achieve what he's achieved even without being pragmatic enough, where they are at the table today. I think he's surprised quite a lot of people. And that, I think, to me, if you ask me, I'd say that's another important factor to consider is how good of a manager Patrick Vieira has proven to be. I'm going to breeze through the chat quickly, and then I'll come back to Bobby to get his opinion on how important this game is. Again, let me breeze through the chat, and I want to recognize the presence of my friend and brother, Mikhail. Always good to see you around. I know you're very busy, but always good to see you find time joining the conversation. Big up, Mikhail says, Phantom, it's important for us to win, but more important than that is that we get a fair game. Yeah, from the referee, I'm guessing that's what you're talking about. And Fraser says he'd arrest Kante. Again, Viola, my life situation is so changing. Okay, Kante should not play his out of form. I wouldn't say that's some. We must remember he fasted that day against Real Madrid, and again I think they broke the fast just a few minutes, around 15, 30 minutes before the game started. I wouldn't say he's out of form. Bench Kante starts Saul or J5. Phantom. Okay, that's them. That's just between them. So, Bobby, I'll come to you. How important is this game, and why do you, from your opinion, why do you think it is a must-win game?
I mean, it's hugely important now, isn't it? Chelsea are a club associated with winning and trophies. We must conclude the season with a trophy. I know the thing about our domestic trophies, there are issues. Officiating is often and has been loaded against us. And I don't think we should ever lose sight of that. We had the League Cup robbed of us by officials, and the whole nonsense going on at Scotland Park with VAR and the bias for Liverpool. And I don't want that ever to be forgotten. But it shouldn't put us off from trying. We need to try and win this FA Cup. It would be terrible if 3 times in a row, it will be getting to a final 3 times in a row. We've got to win it. And if we just have to win it. There's just no two ways about it. I know it's a very strange feeling for us even to focus on football after all the things that's happened all in and around us. What happened at the Bernabeu still hurts. It hurts badly. In a way, I want it to continue to hurt until we bring back our trophy. That European Champions League belongs to us, and we will get it back. That's the mind we need to have. So remember the Bernabeu. That game. It is the strangest thing about that game is that it will forever be remembered in history as a game that a team was beaten, but was marked down as a game worth watching. So playing Palace tomorrow is of huge importance. I hope after the 120 minutes at the Bernabeu and all the emotions attached to it, that the players are revitalized and able to go again, because it's not going to be easy. Palace are going to be physical. They're going to be fast. They're going to be more rested than us. But we have better quality, and we have to make it show. I have to say one thing, though. It is right. Patrick Vieira has done very well. I have to commend him in a time where diversity and opportunity is being focused on giving black players to get into management. I think he's done them tremendously proud. I don't wish him any luck tomorrow, but I wish him luck going forward, such that one day we will see a man like Patrick Vieira being given the bigger clubs, and hopefully be successful with the bigger clubs, because what he's done at Palace has proved that racism and discrimination is a destructive thing to society. We need to stop talking less about equality, more about embracing our differences and giving everybody an equal opportunity.
And just quickly before I go to Nick to get his opinion on this comment on the screen by Fraser, who says at Sao Kante in the summer, Coachella, he's on 290K, been out of form for 3 months, had a lot of injuries. Your thoughts, Bobby?
N'Golo Kante cannot be sold, period.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I'm with that. Enough said for me. The player, he's too valuable. Yes, we need to use him sparingly. The beauty about a player like N'Golo, the older he gets and the less you can use him, the more you can bring in your likes of Tchouameni, your likes of a Declan Rice to work alongside him, to learn from him. And you see, the problem Chelsea had, as was shown at the Bernabeu, is our strength in depth. Look at the people Real Madrid were getting off the bench, and look at the people Chelsea were getting off the bench. That has to be addressed this summer. And Chelsea fans, and as I keep saying, and indeed content makers, need to stop this latching on to every single silly rumor. Sell this player, sell this player. This player needs game time. This player needs game time. Absolute kibosh. You play for Chelsea Football Club. You need to have players coming in at different times. It's not a crime to be on the bench for a while. You are adding to the depth, and this is what we lack. So a player like N'Golo Kante needs to remain at the club. He's invaluable.
And again, it's not. We must recognize it's not like we don't have the numbers. We have the numbers, but the fact is we have starters and we have backups. And I don't want to go into that argument because that really annoys me. But that's by the way.
I want to add something to what.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I mean, I even said it to Bobby directly in messages, and I'm on Twitter as well. People are saying sell this player, but what is the plan? You sold this player who has done something for you, and then you're gonna bring in somebody who you have no certainty that when you bring them in, they're gonna be of good luck. Then you'd have lost that player who has been quality. So what is the point? You're gonna be taking a risk by selling somebody who has done well, or somebody that you don't even know if they'll suit into what you're doing. So it makes no sense. It's better to use that player as as somebody to let that new midfielder in this case get a grasp of what the system asks. And like a Declan Rice or Tchouameni, get those players in, because Kante can be an influence to man, and particularly Tchouameni, because Tchouameni is more of the one. He plays for France as well. He's the one that's being looked at as a replacement for Kante, because you see that Tchouameni and Pogba is the one that's playing for France. So Kante is being looked at as that player to help Tchouameni develop to the next level. So instead of selling Kante, I'm not saying we should sell Jorginho, but if he comes down to that, Jorginho is more of the one that people will be more likely to see go. I don't know why, but that's what people think. So if you want to do that, you're still going to need 2 midfielders, because the reason why we had to get Sounders in was because we nearly lost Kante and Jorginho in one game against Liverpool. So you need to have the quality in that depth and not just the squad size, because that's what we have, the squad size, but not the quality in that squad.
Yeah, Nick, on your thoughts on the call for Kante to be sold. Nick, are you there? Okay, it looks like Nick is not there at this point. I think I want to quickly go through this so that we can build the lineup. If game is close, refs will look to steal it from us. We have to score goals to leave a no doubt. I think Bobby would like to answer this one. Your thoughts, Bobby?
Sorry, I stepped away a bit. What was the question?
It's not a question, it's just an input in the chat, but I think it's something I know you'd like to answer, to talk about. It says if the game is close, refs will look to steal it from us. We have to score goals to leave no room for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, goal scoring is what wins games, isn't it? And sadly, excuse me, that's our problem. We haven't solved that problem. We miss far too many chances. If we didn't miss our chances against Madrid, we would have tanked them, home and away. We're that good a team. But the Achilles heel in Chelsea is missing chances. So absolutely, we've got to score our chances. For sure, because Crystal Palace are no mugs.
Yeah, and again, we must recognize how they play. And this current Chelsea team struggles against teams that press well and that press aggressively. And in the case of Crystal Palace, especially under Patrick Vieira, is that they press very well, they press aggressively, and they press effectively. More importantly, they press strategically. They don't just press because they don't just run. And they are very good at what they do. I think, okay, Nick had an issue, so I'm going to remove this one. So, Nick, coming back to you, I just wanted to ask you this quickly so that we can build the lineup and get done for the day. What do you think about the suggestion for us to sell N'Golo Kante in the summer?
That's ridiculous. We don't want Kante to go nowhere. I want him to retire at Chelsea, you know, and help the youngsters who are going to be coming in. He's very vital for us, like Thiago Silva is. They're both the same. Doesn't matter, they're getting older. Right, he hasn't been at his great form lately, but because we've been using him too much. Kante, you have to rest him and then play him. You know, he's too important, and I can't see Tuchel wanting to get rid of Kante. No chance in hell that Tuchel wants him to go. I don't know where these people get how they think sometimes. You know.
No, again, we all see things differently. Yeah, that's why we're here.
I know.
If we see things the same way, then there will never be a show. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. Myself, I would like Mendy to come in if we can get him, rather than anyone else, just to backup for Kante. And we have Conor Gallagher, who I heard Tuchel speaking about yesterday, with great comments he made about him. You know what a player he can be, and he'd be back, and I think he'd be one of the first team starters next year.
Yeah, and Ty, this is your private comment. I'd really like you to say it. He says something about a Fernandinho model, new DMs, but Fernandinho plays and has a role at City. That's important.
Yeah,
and in the case of Kante, go ahead. Just say what you want to say about it, because I want us to quickly start building the lineup. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got kind of a about Kante. Yeah, I said about Kante. He's like what we said. You know, he's irreplaceable.
Yeah, so with the Fernandinho model at Man City, what they do is
Yeah, like he's saying something about how Man City. How
and
yes, like Man City.
They have the Rodri. Yeah, they have Rodri, and and they want to go
remains.
Yeah, but he remains there, and he's 37 or something like that. So he still has
Yeah.
his part to play. Obviously, because of his age, they don't play him every game.
Yeah.
And Kante is going to eventually have to play that role because we're going to have to be building for the future. And I mean, I use another example, Real Madrid. You speak about Real Madrid and the fact that they were who they brought on. Camavinga. Camavinga is 19. And I mean, Casemiro, you have Modric, you have Cruz. They're all quality. But they have a Camavinga who they can bring on and he's still young. He has a lot to learn, but he has a lot of experience and he has a lot of intellectual part in this game where making tackles for this and taking a yellow card for the sake of not putting the team at risk of conceding. You have to take those little actions. But they're building for the future and they're also in for Chomeni reportedly. So they're building for the future because they have players who are in their 30s in the midfield, despite the mid quality. We have to build for the future so that
And more
transition period.
importantly, if I can come in there, because I want us to quickly do the lineup. But go ahead if you're still saying something, Ty.
No,
Go
I was
ahead, Ty.
just
You
saying,
still saying something.
I was just saying that they're building for the future and they're trying to make the transition period easy for them. So by
Yep.
getting them in, and that's what we should have done with Romani at least because he was really cheaper last season. But because the scout says that he's not ready, they don't think he's ready for the Premier League, which to me makes no sense because if you don't think he's ready, get him in, get players who are experienced and who can help in his development, and then you slowly integrate him. That's what Real Madrid have done with Camavinga. They play him in games, but they also give him time to adapt. And they don't play him every game. They use the experienced minds, and then they bring him on in the game when they think the game is done, or if they think he can make an impact. And that's the model in some sense that Chelsea should follow.
And more importantly, like you've alluded to, it's important for the transition to be seamless. And it will not be seamless if they just sell Casemiro and then bring in Camavinga. It won't make sense. So in the case of Kante, more importantly, Kante is an exemplary professional. His record is spotless in terms of behavior. Talk about it. Even his teammates will attest to that. I don't think Chelsea would want to sell him, and Chelsea have kept those players who you could say are of Kante's behavior in the same line. Like what's this? A Portuguese international. He stayed at the club for a long time, even when he stopped playing. That's important, and I think that culture of keeping players of such caliber will continue. But that's by the way, Mikhail has said there has to be an overlap with some understudy for Kante for 1 or 2 seasons. Exactly, that makes perfect sense. And Chelsea, the Kingslayer, says you can keep anyone you like, prepared to lose them on a free. Yes, if they don't want to stay, that makes a great sense there. So great input. And Mikhail again says Real Madrid still have Modric and Kroos, but they have brought in Casemiro, Camavinga, Valverde, and more to learn from them. And that's important. More importantly, it makes the transition period seamless so that you don't lose momentum. Brighton just scored 1-0 against Spurs. Okay, that's good news for us. Thank you for that update, DJ Brighton. Okay, let's just quickly start working on the lineup and what Kante has to do with horrible Chelsea average as strikers. If we have smart and deadly strikers, by then we're gonna know Kante is a German machine. Again, good input right there. I think we should just go into the lineup right now. Still hope Southampton beat Arsenal. I think that could happen. After that loss to us, their coach would want to see a reaction. I think that's their next game after that game after us, right? Jeff5 and Kante enter last year of your contracts. You have to renew or lose them both on a free. Yep, that scares the heck out of me. So we get to the lineup. I'll start with you, Nick Blue. Who do you think will start between the sticks for us tomorrow? And if you're in the chat, let us know.
Yeah. As much as I feel sorry for Kepa, because he should have played in the League Cup final. But I can't see Tuchel starting him in this FA Cup final. I might be wrong, but I think it'd be Mendy, Rudiger on the left, Silva in the middle.
Let's start from the goalkeeper. I'll come to you.
Yeah.
For the whole lineup, yeah.
Yeah, Mendy. I think it'd be Mendy.
Okay. Yeah. Ty, who do you think starts between the sticks?
I don't want to see Mendy play because I think he's tired, but I think it's going to be Mendy. I don't think he's going to play his second choice.
Mendy, Bobby, your thoughts?
Mendy.
Mendy. So probably people in the chat, I think, probably let us know your thoughts. I think it's Mendy starts there, and Fraser is already fighting Phantom, who says Kepa, and he says it is finished if that happens. Right-hand side for you, right centre-back position for you, Nick Blue.
It's got to be Aspie for me. Aspie on the right. Yeah.
Okay, Aspie on the right. You, Ty, who on the right? Bobby, who do you think will start in the right centre-back position?
I'm going for Chalobah. Just because of the physicality, height, and speed of Crystal Palace, I'll go Chalobah. Remember, there are 5 subs, so...
Yeah, it could sub, but I think our captain's going to start this one. It's a big game, and Tuchel's going to want Aspie's experience, leadership for this game.
Yeah. So I think we have more.
I think anyway, it could be Chalobah. I love Chalobah, you know.
I think we have more Chalobah.
I feel more safe with Aspie there. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say clearly how. I'm not sure. I'm not really well acquainted at this point how good Chalobah is aerially, because we're struggling aerially right now. But we'll see what happens.
Chalobah on the right.
Sorry,
Chalobah as the right centre back. That's a big risk. That's a big risk.
Before.
That's a big risk.
Why is that a big risk? And I think we'll have more Chalobahs. But go ahead.
I saw you had a graphic up with with a predicted 11. Let's not forget about
probably
Elise.
11. That's from what's their name? That's from the app that I use.
Elise has been playing on that left for Crystal Palace. It would be the right for us. So that's a big risk because Chalobah hasn't really been.
Yeah, Elise. I think Elise is injured.
Here's another factor for you here. Chalobah has also scored against Crystal Palace, so that's another factor that managers consider.
So did Kai Havertz.
But Kai Havertz is in another position. He's not vying for places with Chalobah.
No, you're saying that he scored.
Who do you think will start here? No question. It is Rudiger.
For me,
you were saying something.
Coach, who are you talking to?
I was saying, Ty, he was saying something. I didn't hear what he was saying, and I wanted to find out. So for the 2 6s, give me your 2 6s. Nick, give me your 2 6s.
Did you put Rudiger first?
Rudiger is there.
Yeah. Alonso, left wing back. James, right wing back. And I'm going.
Yeah, your 2 6s.
Cover. I could well see Jorginho tomorrow. Kanté might be on the bench to have a little rest and come on if we need him. Cover and Jorginho. Yeah.
Okay, can I agree? Cover will be there, but the other person I think is where we'll find out. Give me your 2 6s.
Kovacic. And
for me.
And
Kanté needs the rest.
Kovacic and Jorginho. I don't know. I don't really think
Jorginho, you think?
I don't know. I like the Kovacic duo, but I don't know. Jorginho hasn't been good.
I think Kanté will be rested if you ask me. So I agree. Kovacic, Jorginho. Bobby, your 2 6s.
Cover and Ruben.
Oh my lord! I knew someone was going to say that.
Do you think Cover will play number 6?
Yeah. If they're going to press, people like that are equipped to beat the press. He's far better at beating the press than Jorginho.
Here's the thing.
Really? Not against Real Madrid, though.
Here's the thing, Bobby. I get your point. But I think this experiment with Ruben on the right-hand side, I think it's worked best with Ruben as the right wing back, right wing man, not even right wing back. And his primary responsibility isn't really to defend. I think he's executed it well on 2 occasions. And I think he made us very fluid attacking wise. I think he will repeat that again. That's my opinion. But you said cover Ruben for the 2-6s.
Cover
Again,
Ruben, in my opinion.
sorry?
Cover Ruben to start.
Cover Ruben. Okay.
In my opinion.
And you said
Oh, to start.
Ty?
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I said Kovacic
Cover
and
Ruben?
Jorginho, but I said
Yeah.
Kovacic and Jorginho, but he said cover Ruben.
Ruben has a lot of physicality. He will, to start. I mean, who knows? Maybe later you bring in Georgie or whoever, but to start, cover Ruben for me anyway.
I think it makes sense now because James is fit.
Too?
Yeah.
Did he go on loan there as well? At Crystal Palace?
Yeah,
he
Ruben
did.
played for Palace, yeah.
Yeah.
On loan.
So Nick, your right wing back man, who do you play?
No, it's only James. James.
It's only James, indeed.
Sure.
Nick, do you agree, Ty?
I don't agree with Ruben. Ruben is not that good. He's lost his I don't know, since that big injury, he's not the same player for me. And he wasn't that great at Real Madrid. I don't know what you... He was all right. He done a good job, but he wasn't that great. He loses the ball.
Yeah, I'm still thinking that without Kante on the pitch, I'm still thinking playing Ruben and Kova as the 2-6s is a big risk.
It's going to be Jorginho. I think it'll be Jorginho.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be Jorginho if you ask me. Bobby, what do you think?
Well, I mean, either or. I just think because, Crystal Palace is not Real Madrid. They're going to be very physical. Georgie suffers with that. And Ruben has the physicality to deal with it.
Bobby,
but control is important to Thomas Tuchel, if you ask me, which means he'll most likely go with Jorginho.
We can argue. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's what we think. But knowing Tuchel, he will go with someone else anyway. So you don't know what he's.
So let's see who wins the vote now. Ty, your vote, your 2-6s again.
Jorginho and Kovacic, or Kovacic and Jorginho.
So that wins in terms of vote. But I think Ruben will play, but I don't think as a 6. I think Tuchel will continue playing him in that right wing or right wing back position, however you want to phrase it. But he operated in the mid. He supported the midfield very well. It was so fluid and good to watch. But we'll see what happens.
Don't be surprised if we may see Chalobah as a 6.
There's a possibility he could try him there, but I think he'll play him here to rest orders for the next game. And I think this is an opportunity to give him game time. But at the same time, I don't think he wants to risk anything. He really wants to win this one because that's the only cup that we're in for the season. Let me start with you, Bobby. For left wing back, who do you have in mind?
Now, this is where I differ with people as well. Because of this pace and physicality, which I think is key tomorrow, I will start Malang Sarr.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I think possibly. I think he will start. I think I go for Sarr. I think Alonso will be rested because he's not that young anymore. Your thoughts are Nick Blue, Ty. Who would you start here?
Let Nick Blue go first.
Ty. Who?
Let Nick Blue go first. I
said Alonso. I said Alonso.
You said Alonso?
Yeah.
Okay, Ty, who would you start there? And if you're in the chat, let us know who you start in the left wing back position. I think I'd start Sarr, and I'd see Sarr starting.
Can I explain why just before?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sarr hasn't played much. He has the energy, he has the physicality, he has the pace. Now there are 5 substitutions. It's better to bring someone like Alonso on later when Palace are a bit tired than to start him when he is tired. He's not that young a man.
Yeah.
He's played 120 minutes at the Bernabeu. He doesn't have that much pace. I can really see them starting Sarr.
Yeah, it can. I like Sarr, but he has a big mistakes in him. That's what I don't like.
Here's what I've noticed about those mistakes that people talk about. Sarr only makes that mistake only if we don't have a strong midfield that protects the defense. That happens.
Yeah. Yes.
That's my argument. I have to let you know because he's a fine player. He's quicker.
He's
good, and he's got some good passes in him too.
Yeah, he has, but he has too many mistakes for me.
I was gonna say Kennedy. What the heck? That's a big
Yeah, good question
Kennedy.
about Kennedy, and I don't think we'll see Kennedy tomorrow.
No,
Unfortunately, I like him
You
as a
never
yeah,
player.
know. You never
Ty.
know. You never know. He may be on this. He may be on the.
Kennedy is
I'm
going
gonna
to
say
be
sorry though.
he's playing with the women's team against Arsenal tomorrow.
Women's team? Are you joking?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'm not
okay,
joking.
but I think
What the hell?
I think he's joking. I
Oh,
think
oh,
we have
in that case,
more.
if
Unfortunately,
he can
Bobby,
do
they
that,
win
hey,
us. We
no,
have
no,
more
if
Alonso
he can do
here
that,
for the left wing back
I was
position.
gonna say sorry. All right, all right. I was
Yeah,
gonna say that.
and for Sailu, if you haven't, please be sure to like the video, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The Blue Morning Show is
Wait,
a
wait,
daily
wait,
show
wait,
here on
wait,
Trusted
wait, wait,
Perspective.
wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just realized what you guys did. Why is Silver playing?
This is an important game. This is
Yeah,
as
but he's
much
been
as
playing
this is
two games
as
in a
important
row.
as any other game we have right
That's not
now.
good. That's not good. Silver has been playing. Oh, that's not good.
But he's rested for a few days now.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what's the reason for?
for Silva.
That's a
Silva
big
has to
risk,
play
man.
this game. We
That's a
have to
big
win
risk.
this game. So
Yeah,
That's a
we
big
have
risk.
to.
look at Rudiger. He's been playing every single game this year, but he
But
still
yeah,
shows
he's
up.
not 37. He's 29.
Yeah, but
Who do
Silva will
you
show up.
play
You
in
can't
place
play no one
of
else.
Silva? Ty. Yeah. Tell me, who do you play?
I want to say, but
He's thinking
people
of
will not agree.
Christensen. You think it's Christensen
It's
is
a
going
big
to play?
risk, man. It's a
No,
big risk.
Silva's going to start the game. You watch.
It's a big risk, man. It's a big risk. That's a big risk.
Yeah, and I agree with Mikhail. I'd play RSC in that position again. I think Tuchel would do it because he has worked quite well. We've created a lot of chances with him there. And if you watch all those games, all the goals we've scored with him in that position, he's either directly or indirectly involved in it. So I think I'd play him there again because he's been brilliant there to me. Since his primary responsibility isn't to defend, whenever he's on the pitch and in that position, I'd play him there again. Let me see. Okay, here we can all agree it is Mason Mount. None of that. I think he's played
Why is it
well
not?
there
Why is
behind
it
the
not
two
Harvey
strikers.
Dale?
I don't think we'll risk it. It looks like you don't understand the importance of this game. There's no other cup competition
No,
for us
I'm
again this year.
joking. I'm joking.
Okay.
Mason Mount is going to be playing. The question is, who's going to be the two?
I think Kai plays too. Kai starts.
Hi.
If you ask me, your thoughts,
You're
Nick.
joking.
Yeah, for me, Mount just behind Havertz and Werner. That's what I would go for.
No, that's not
Me
good.
too.
Oh,
Mount Havertz, Werner,
no.
for sure.
Havertz has
Yeah.
played 165 minutes in 2 games. That's not good.
How old is
That
he?
is the risk.
How old is he?
But it doesn't matter
45?
how old he is. That's fatigue. There's something called
I can
fatigue.
see
He's rested. When was it? When did we play Real Madrid? He's had a few days to rest.
Yes.
What about Alonso then? What about Alonso?
He's rested too.
They're all rested, and we need a strong team tomorrow. You know, this is a must-win game. And
It's better not be tomorrow's lineup. That's all I'm saying. It's better not be tomorrow's lineup.
I can see Lukaku being on the bench and coming on maybe, but I think we will go for Havertz and Werner. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Here's the thing. Whether we like it or not, we must agree that Tuchel prefers fluidity over the power of Lukaku. We've learned that over time. He is even reluctant in most cases to bring him in because the moment he comes in, things change. The way we play change. Fluidity drops to almost near 50%, if you ask me. But that's, by the way, I think, Ty, your point, so we get Matt's input and call it a day.
I'm just gonna concede, man. Havertz up top, but I think that's a big risk, man. The guy has played 165 minutes. Alonso has played 210 minutes. I don't know, man. That's a big risk. That is a big risk.
I don't think the table. Do you tell her? Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, Matt, come in. Your thoughts on the lineup?
Yeah, no, this better not be tomorrow's lineup because number one, I mean, obviously Mendy should not be in goal. Number one, Kepa should obviously be there. Number two, as much as I want Havertz to start, I do think Lukaku starts. Because and Silva does not like this lineup it doesn't match because Silva won't start. AC will go over Silva as much as we hate to say. Kepa will go over Mendy. Lukaku over Havertz. Havertz comes on maybe 50th minute, 60th minute if you haven't scored. And yeah, that's it. I don't think this lineup is. I mean, it's going to be hard to pick a lineup. Like, I mean, everyone's going to have a different lineup for this game. But my personal opinion, I'm not bag on this, but my personal opinion would be those players and those changes, because we have to take a risk on some of these players.
And there's a chance actually Kepa starts, but Thomas took a good luck correctly predicting.
I think if he doesn't
Who the hell
start,
is
he
eating?
goes.
Who the hell is eating with the mic
Sorry,
open?
that's me. Sorry, I'm in mute.
Go ahead, Matt. You were saying something.
I forgot to mute before. Fuck my bad. No, but if Kepa doesn't get started this game, it's gonna be a massive disrespect to him. And I do probably see him even more leaving in the summer because you can't disrespect someone like Kepa like that. You know, Mendy's been horrible, and then we just don't switch to someone like Kepa. It's quite embarrassing.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think you have to balance. Manage the two goalkeepers.
Every team does it. Like they started.
Yeah, but Tuchel
Liverpool
haven't.
did
To
it.
me, I don't think he's managed their selection very well. I think the way he's done it, capacity of confidence will be very low because it doesn't look like it trusts him. So to round off, Ty, your final thoughts. I'll go to Nick and then I'll let Bobby round up for us today.
Yep. I mean, this game is going to be intense. It's going to be a good watch. Just like the match that's going to be happening in 49 minutes, Liverpool versus Man City. Obviously, probably not at the same level, but it's going to be an intense game. Chelsea will have to be on their toes because Crystal Palace can always sit back and then hit us on the counter and can score because they have the quality and they could have scored against us the last time when we won 1-0. But hopefully, we will be able to use the fact that we came so close to come back against Real Madrid, and we did, but we lost in the end. And we used that anger on the pitch, and we used that hunger to make it to a final, and probably and hopefully win.
Yeah, your final thoughts, Nick Blue.
Hold on. Yeah. Look, it's like I said before, it's a massive game. It's a must win. We have to win this and go on and win this cup. Whoever Tuchel eventually plays, I'll be backing them. I'll back Tuchel whatever he decides. And maybe who said Lukaku? Matt is right. Lukaku could well start and Havertz be on the bench. It could be a possibility because he was training, and Tuchel mentioned his name. He said he's ready and training with the players. So you'll never know. I don't mind. I want Lukaku to, if he does play, to show up and get a goal and get his confidence back. That's only good for Chelsea.
Yeah,
so,
you're fine.
I wouldn't mind at all. Yeah,
okay.
I predicted a 3-1 Chelsea win tomorrow already. So let's hope.
Okay, your thoughts, Matt. Your final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I've said pretty much everywhere how much it's important it is for Kepa to start. Obviously, as Nick said, that whatever Tuchel puts in that team, I'm going to obviously back and support. But he has made some minor mistakes in the past, with the goalkeeping decision, even with some of our centre backs as well. So I'm looking forward to the game. Obviously, we've got the other one now coming up, so we'll just see what happens tomorrow. But it's been a massive discussion this week about the FA Cup.
Yeah, and people, please be sure to go check out Matt's new YouTube channel, Zivoli. Great content. I implore you to go do that. Same with Thai Talk CFC. Make sure to go check out his channel. Great content also. So, Bobby, can you round up for us your final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's perhaps less about squad selection than application. I echo a lot of what Nick said. Not sure about Kepa in goal. I don't know if he's been playing our FA Cups. I can't remember. If he has, well, maybe Tuchel may choose to do that. I don't know. The fact of the matter is that those boys need to go out there remembering who they are, remembering this is the last chance for silverware for this season, and we must take it. It's as simple as that. Our team talks from here on in is very easy. Very easy. You are Chelsea, and you've got to show the world why you are who you are. And I think if we do that, we will be okay tomorrow. We'll turn them over.
Absolutely. And thank you very much. Please look at the screen now. You will see the Twitter handles of each of those people on the panel. Make sure to go follow them. I can't thank you enough, Bobby. I can't thank you enough, Ty, Matt, and also Nick Blue, as always, for joining the panel for this good conversation we've had today regarding the move, regarding the redevelopment of Stamford Bridge. You guys, it's been a great conversation. And for those in the chat from Phantom, thank you very much. I appreciate you finding time to join. DJ also for the great updates. I appreciate you. And my brother Mikhail, who's always very busy, but finds time to join. I appreciate you. Just Viola, Queen of the House, and everybody else who was in the chat. I cannot thank you enough. You all provide great value to the stream, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for another pregame show. And hopefully Arsenal loses today. With that, I say God bless us all. See us tomorrow, and bye.